The final deadline looms. Only 25 days until the college entrance exam. The suffocating pressure of the approaching college entrance exam hangs heavy in the classroom. The primal genes surged, forcing a terrifying, inhuman transformation. Powerful monsters threatened the very existence of human civilization. Against the darkness, humanity forged a new path, the beast gene system. The rise of monstrous threats elevated the warrior class to a position of unprecedented respect. The cosmic data streamed in, a grand introduction to this new reality where martial cultivation reigns supreme. The suffocating air of the classroom buzzed with mockery. It's true that every bullied protagonist story has a lead biatch in. The system's assessment cuts through the noise. His status is merely average. The host's mind reels from the sudden transfer of memories. This unwanted life is a tragic inheritance. The teacher waited, posture tense behind his simple desk. But still, I've got this. The injection conference begins, filled with nervous anticipation and boastful whispers. The genetic injection hall hums with anticipation, housing rows of glowing serum vials. The monstrous echoes of power surged, manifesting terrifying primordial forms before the indifferent scientist. The agonizing screams echoed as power erupted around them. The leading bully taunts him again, displaying blatant contempt. A terrifying surge of power erupted, blowing everyone back with an invisible force. A monstrous shadow erupted, crackling with raw, electric power. A sudden, raw power erupted, throwing everyone violently backward. What kind of powerful impact just shook the hall? What strange, crystalline energy emanates from the depths of the awakening process? A massive, shadowy presence loomed, its glowing eyes promising untold power. A sudden surge of terrifying power erupted from Yi's hand. What was that powerful surge? His aura instantly swept over everyone nearby. She gasped, eyes rolling back in shock after the sudden surge of power. A flash of power scattered everyone like dust. The gene injection hall hummed with cold, electric anticipation. The technician displayed the previous student's results. A third-tier awakening. The testing screen flickers, revealing the stark realities of their awakened tiers. Yi, the body's host, was now wrestling with the consequences of inherited misfortune. The onlookers reacted with intense, fawning awe. They sensed an immense, untapped potential in him. He stepped into the ominous light, a shadow moving toward the unknown test. With palpable tension, the crowd focused on the protagonist. The system's data remained stubbornly hidden. Only basic information was available. The mocking continued, their scorn echoing the original owner's shame. The system flares to life, revealing the blueprint for infinite ascension. A sickening grin tears across his face, the light in his eyes burning with a monstrous, alien glow. This moment of distraction, a vibrant, captivating plea from the artist herself. Beneath a bright, indifferent sky, the walls of Anqing stood, reflecting his desperate plea. The teacher's easy skepticism met the student's intense, pleading gaze. The imposing gates of Wada University loomed, casting a harsh light on the skeptical teacher. Look at the sincerity in my eyes. I would never lie to you. The Anqing Warrior Center stood massive, a beacon for those seeking true power. A determined figure walks forward, weighted by untold ambition and newfound capital. The needle plunged, injecting the essence of power into his very being. A blinding surge of blue aura erupts, dwarfing the surrounding figures. The illusion of the beast solidified behind him, its icy breath chilling the air. The bloodline awakened within him, burning with untamed, purple-hued power. A sudden, firm touch stops him mid-stride. I'm here to buy genetic medicine, but this place is huge and I can't find my way. Could you help me out? I'm here to buy genetic medicine, but this place is huge and I can't find my way. Could you help me out? 4 fingers held up, a silent question hanging in the air. His face contorted in an expression of utter, desperate intensity. A veteran warrior's referral. Perhaps it can secure the discount I desperately need. A quick, friendly farewell after securing vital information. The intensity in his glowing eyes betrayed a fierce, burning resolve. The Demora template compatibility surges from 4% to 7% amidst a violent surge of blue energy. The raw power of the Mad Flame template surged, threatening to consume him. The secret realm rifts, ranked S to E, reveal a hierarchy of peril and power. He strides onto the cracked rooftop, his gaze fixed forward. The journey to power has begun. The gateway throbbed with brilliant blue energy, signaling departure. The barrier shatters, pulling him into the swirling, vibrant depths of the realm. A sudden impact, a powerful surge of movement against the light. Even facing celestial wonders, he felt the weight of his journey in this strange new realm. The starry night sky framed the stark reality of the secret realm. The Blade Fong Rabbit's presence resonated through the life magnetic field. The hunter smiles, drawing his blade as the monstrous beast erupts in raw, glowing power. The beast's life force flared, a momentary victory before the inevitable strike. The beast's core pulsed faintly in his hand, already appraised. The Blade Fang Rabbit's core, a meager 1,000 yuan. The monstrous second-ranked beast looms, its jaws wide, ready to devour the rookie warrior. Speak of the devil. A predatory grin flashes across his face as he grips his weapon. The sudden, vibrant image serves as a striking break from the intense training narrative. Anjing number 3, a class secret realm. The monstrous maw lunged, met by a desperate, blinding strike. His eyes glowed, a cold, intense focus amidst the vile green residue. The overwhelming force crashes down, a dizzying vortex of dark energy. He channeled everything, an explosive surge of power, true martial arts unleashed. A blinding, decisive beam of energy slams into the monstrous target. The projectile attack closes in, a blur of lethal energy. His eyes widen in shock. The transformation was agonizing, a visceral shriek tearing from his very core. Facing the monstrous form, he curses the limits of his past self. Emperor Demon Bloodline. Activate. The surge of power was absolute. The Earth Dragon lunges, a terrifying maw filled with needle-sharp teeth. A monstrous maw snaps shut, a shadow narrowly evading the lethal strike. The Earth Dragon descends, its monstrous form radiating corrupted energy. The aftermath of a brutal kill leaves the victor shrouded in dissipating, hot energy. The corroded, useless sword lay abandoned in the tall, damp grass. A sudden, deep rumbling sound echoed off the dusty, pale terrain. It's a magic core. The corpse demon bug's core is green-grayed. The intoxicating green core descends, swallowed by the silhouette of desperation and hunger. A fortune spent on a mere 1% gain, turning frustration into fierce motivation. Tonight, he would hunt to his heart's content. With a massive surge, the life field erupted across the land. Demola. Emperor Demon Bloodline. Activate. Are you serious? A mere high school student managed to collect this many magic cores? The energy portal pulsed, marking the gateway to the D-class secret realm. A triumphant, almost manic grin spread across his face, snapping his fingers into place. The captain questioned the new arrival, a student forced to use an illegal alias. You're the martial disciple level 9 Datsla? The captain sized up the mysterious, hooded figure. The engine roars as they breach the barrier, the tactical vehicle leaping into the unknown. The world above was chaos, but here, under a burning sky, a lone figure launched into the desolate expanse. The armored occupants approached the desert oasis, aware of the sensitive environment. The earth demon beasts have locked onto the vehicle, infusing martial energy. The throwing dart exploded like a bomb on impact. Infusing martial energy. The throwing dart explodes like a bomb on impact. Steel blades ripped through flesh with sickening force. Explosions rained down from the unforgiving sky, forcing the convoy to accelerate through the desert dust. The heavily armored veteran sternly overlooks the newest, disguised recruit. The barren desert stretched endlessly beneath alien celestial bodies. They march across the desolate, red-tinged sands toward the oasis. The captain assigns precise roles, setting traps, providing fire support. A blinding flash erupts as the impact shakes the very sky. The Tier 2 Earth Dragon bursts forth, its roar tearing through the oppressive desert air. A chilling strike echoed across the desolate battlefield. Weapons plunged into the broken earth, a ruthless presence, blade in hand, a sinister chuckle echoing. Beneath a bruised, star-dusted sky, a colossal world dominates the horizon. A blinding torrent of energy erupts, slamming into the colossal beast. A massive impact shatters the air. Captain Lim's victory confirmed. A monstrous talon descends, the air thick with imminent collapse. The blow was delivered with crushing force, shaking the very earth beneath them. The sheer force erupted, shattering the ground around the kneeling figure. The aftermath of the battle left the survivors stunned by the sheer power displayed. The victory was decisive, and now the survivors celebrated their hard-won alliance. The Earth Dragon's essence, glowing bright, is finally secured. They stared up, mesmerized by the glowing, vital essence of the slain beast. The betrayal strikes deep, a sudden, shocking stab in the back. The sudden violence ripped through their victory celebration. What horror unfolded now? Huo Peng makes his move, lunging forward with deadly intent. A hulking figure, eyes glowing with malice, reveals himself to the stunned survivors. The traitor reveals his hand. It was the embedded dart all along. The traitor mocked his focus on school, turning the confrontation deadly. The confrontation explodes as an arrogant strike descends with blinding speed. That bald brute's arrogance only fuels his impending doom. A chilling blue energy coalesced in his grip. The traitor is exposed, but the real fight has only just begun. The air cracks as the protagonist unleashes his overwhelming power. The air cracks as a confrontation begins. A blinding, upward strike descends, but his glowing eyes reveal he's already calculated the counter. The traitor has revealed his true colors, his embedded information a betrayal. The power of the novice stunned the onlookers. Such devastating force from a single strike. The shadow looms larger, an ominous silhouette radiating raw, purple power. The monstrous power surges as the bloodline activates. Tyrant Terror Black Bear awakens. Martial technique. Peak Shaker. The colossal beast unleashes its ultimate power. The rogue unleashes his toxic power. But the enemy barely flinches. The brute force of the attack slams into the monstrous form. The impact shatters the air, pulsing with raw, dark energy. The traitor, Huo Peng, reveals his true intentions, a desperate glare fixed on his targets. The mountain-crushing heavy fist descends with terrifying blue energy. The air shatters under the force of the new technique. The young warrior stood defiant against the overwhelming shadow. The fight is over. The traitor lies broken, testament to a superior power. Beneath the dust and shadow, a wicked martial artist's terrifying glare remains. The blimps signaled their arrival above the massive central sports stadium. Confetti showers down as the crowd roars, capturing the high-stakes opening of the martial arts examination. The path to glory illuminated, displaying the structure of the tournament bracket. That smug face promised a decisive victory. His confidence bordered on arrogance. The momentum shifts instantly as raw power collides in the arena. A lone figure stands amidst the vast, sterile arena floor. Something is amiss. The talent scout readied his equipment, preparing to capture every moment of the spectacle. The air crackled with menacing power, a demonic aura erupting around the figure. The crowd watched on, baffled by the sudden no-show. A tremor of the unseen, a sudden, powerful warning cuts through the air. That immense surge of power, a light so brilliant it defied the sky. The ground shook violently as an unbelievable force rushed toward her. The momentum of the attack was unstoppable, a terrifying collision force. A sudden, blinding impact leaves a fighter reeling, gasping for air. The crowd roared, hands thrust skyward in a frenzy of support. The system displays the host's overwhelming fitness score. A villainous grin spreads across his face. The massive opponent crumples under a single, brilliant impact. The shockwave hits, a brutal impact sending the opponent reeling, blood spraying in a horrifying arc. The crowd erupts, witnessing unbelievable power. They roar their approval for the rising star. The clash of titans begins with a raw surge of power. Suddenly, the overwhelming spotlight of fame descended upon the victor. Your momentum is good, but I am giving you the first move. They casually stride past, oblivious to the small, distressed figure beneath their feet. The evaluators approached, their scrutiny sharp and immediate. They held up the proof of his sudden, impossible ascent. The attacker's grip tightened, his face contorted with desperate surprise. He gripped his chest, basking in the sudden, blinding adoration. That power breaking through the genetic lock? The observers were paralyzed with shock. The relentless pursuit of strength has pulled him into dangerous, unknown realms. The dust settled, revealing the victorious warrior standing on the arena floor. Luo Xin stands, radiating supreme confidence before his opponent. The air crackles as raw power surges forth. Bloodline awakening. The clash erupts. An overwhelming surge of electric power unleashed. The raw, terrifying power surged, amplified by the mechanized claws. The clash was absolute, power erupting in a brilliant, dangerous blue. The air shattered under the colossal force of the impact. The seated contestant, Luo Shan, is utterly defeated in an instant. Casual gesture, a chilling lack of effort. His skill level exists beyond the competition. The crowd erupted, their cheers fueled by adoration for the next contender. A fallen fighter, carried past, sparks of silent recognition from the aloof observer. My senses have been unusually sharp since childhood. In 30 minutes, I won all the information about him. The second group's advancement matches are now underway. Her eyes wide, she pointed with an elegant, almost challenging gesture. A moment of silent contemplation before the storm. The next match begins as the combatants lock eyes. The clash unleashed a blinding torrent of energy. A deadly trap springs. She's ensnared by swirling currents of pure energy. A primal roar erupts as the Shadowclaw Tiger King bloodline bursts forth. The sheer force of the awakened bloodline erupted, bathing the arena in violent, incandescent light. The Shadowclaw Tiger King erupts. Raw primal fury meeting stunned disbelief. The Shadowclaw Tiger King unleashes its primal fury. The unattainable flower unleashes her raw power. A fierce attack erupts, named for its blinding, brief glory. The Shadowclaw Tiger King bloodline erupts in a blinding, fierce attack. Primordial chaos meets the unforgiving Jade Finger. The energies of the Shadowclaw Tiger and the Nether Phoenix violently collide, its Kai shaling, still standing despite the devastating clash. The victor stands tall, her dark hair flowing like a banner over the defeated opponent. The ethereal glow of her awakened power catches the light. The top 8 advancement tournament draw ceremony is about to commence. The draw is set. The next pairing is revealed. The colossal figure beams, revealing his seated marker to the opponent. The confident upperclassman points, ready to face his next opponent. The victor stands illuminated, the vanquished man cast down at his feet. Chu Zhou stands victorious, his gaze unwavering as the result is declared. Since childhood, my senses have been unusually sharp. The second group's advancement matches are now in full swing. The air crackled as the combatants squared off, bathed in intense blue energy. The raw force of the collision erupted, shattering the very air around them. A massive shockwave erupted, overwhelming the nearest observers. A maniacal grin, blood streaming, as he unleashes his true power. The hulking form erupts in a blinding, fiery aura, meeting Yi He's intense gaze. The hidden power erupted, eyes blazing with unnatural blue light. A searing golden aura erupts, manifesting the terrifying form of the great serpent. The sheer force of the attack erupts, striking with blinding intensity. The air itself seemed to tear as Yi He moved with impossible speed. A blinding flash of yellow energy erupts, a colossal impact shaking the very air. A nosebleed erupts, a visible toll of the fierce exchange. The earth itself recoiled from the sheer impact of the blow. The beast embodiment strikes with terrifying force. You cannot escape this primal surge. The sheer force of the impact, a brilliant explosion of golden energy. The shapeful fist connects, overwhelming Yi He in a blinding burst of power. The ferocious energy erupts, sending Yi He hurtling through the air. The tiger's embodiment roars as the final, devastating strike connects. The divine beast manifests with a terrifying, deafening shriek. Shen Guan unleashes the power of Shinji Quan, a generational martial art. A blinding, concussive strike erupted, shaking the very foundations of the arena. The imposing figure emerges, radiating absolute confidence from the dust cloud. The medical staff rushes forward, ready to contain the fallout from Shen Guan's devastating combination. The sheer magnitude of his aura surged upward, swallowing the sky. The true power of the magical beast's embodiment unleashes, crackling with pure, terrifying energy. My shield can no longer block this overwhelming energy. The battle culminates as he unleashes the overwhelming power of his awakened bloodline. The shockwave of raw power ripples out, confirming the impossible. A resounding shockwave tears through the air as the incredible power manifests. The crowd leans in, witnessing the unbelievable clash unfolding before them. A nosebleed erupts. The sheer pressure of this battle is taking its toll. Bloodline awakening. Golden Star APE Demon. The shapeful fist unleashes its devastating snake strike. The sheer power of the martial art unleashes a blinding clash against the monstrous blue form. The devastating shapeful fist collided, the impact shattering the air itself. The agonizing power surge ripped through him, turning flesh to ruin. The shadow of the transformed being looms, its raw power overwhelming. The unknown beast looms, crackling with dark, electric power. The intensity of his awakening was undeniable, pushing him past all limits. Big Man Dio and Be distracted. The warning rings out amidst the escalating, primal surge. The form solidifies into a devastating strike. The monstrous energy unleashed. A fierce roar of primal power echoes. The behemoth strikes down with blinding speed, his raw power eclipsing everything. A sudden, shattering impact erupts as the force lands. The crushing force descended, a beastly foot slamming down with blinding, incandescent light. The Third Order King bloodline unleashed its unimaginable might. The raw power of his awakened bloodline surged, clad in dark, spiky armor. The monstrous form looms, electric energy crackling around its massive claws. The time for defense is over. The beast's power erupted, blinding and brilliant, surging blue energy. The king bloodline knelt, unable to withstand the sheer surge of awakened power. The sheer, golden power of the awakened warrior loomed, forcing his opponent down. Restrained by his own power, the fighter admits defeat with savage reluctance. The monstrous power manifested. The beast's claw poised, yet a weary resignation settled in. The overwhelming energy was unleashed. An unfathomable power surged forth. The raw power of his awakened bloodline surged, impossible to contain. The crowd roars its approval, a wave of elation for Brother Yi's victory. Before the match, Shen Guan roared with confidence, promising victory. The audience erupts, consumed by the digital spectacle of Yi's terrifying power. The school director's fury boiled over. His investment was now trash. The furious mentor demanded obedience, enraged by the fighter's decision to yield. The instructor, his face masked by dark glasses, reels back in shock. His breath hitched, the raw power surging beneath his skin, refusing to be contained. The digital display highlights the 4 contenders remaining in the tournament bracket. Old Liu, the leadership chair of An City's #1 middle school, shows his delight. The draw ceremony for the semifinals begins now. The battle lines are drawn. Yi versus Liu Qingju, an internal clash for the school's honor. The beast's maw gapes, a monstrous manifestation of raw power. The semifinals venue awaits, buzzing with anticipation. The confrontation is set, and City's finest stand revealed. The stage is set, and the masked combatant issues his declaration. A sudden, blinding surge of power erupts, throwing the opponent into the blinding light. The martial energy, no longer containable, billowed forth like a spectral cloud. The unknown power surges, engulfing the arena in blinding light and shadow. Her gaze locks onto Yi, radiating cold intensity. The commentator erupts, stunned by the shocking turn of events unfolding live. Veiled in thick mist, A silhouette of immense power appeared before him. His chilling blue eyes bore through the rising steam, calculating every move. This martial arts prodigy demands swift victory. Mountain arresting fist. The pressure mounts as he channels raw power, ready to defend or strike back instantly. A blinding aura erupts. His eyes glow with intense, focused power. The impact strikes. A flash of blinding, blue-white energy explodes across the stage. A furious, blinding impact erupts across the arena. The very air tore apart with an impossible, shattering roar. A blinding surge of blue energy erupted as he descended upon her. The impact shatters the air. A blinding surge of energy erupts. The blinding light of the blood awakening erupted, slamming Yi backward. Her eyes ignite, focusing the raw power building within. The stage exploded with a violent flash of blue energy. A blinding burst of power erupts, shaking the very foundations of the stage. Yi, cloaked in a terrifying, glowing mask, unleashes his full might. The air cracks under the sheer force of the impact. The arts of the Liu family are unveiled. The defensive floating shadow and the offensive Unuan jade finger forced into a corner. There was only one path left. Defeated, Liu Qingju resorts to her ultimate, hidden power. The final trump card is revealed. The blood awakening. The void-like wings, crackling with purple energy, dominated the stage. The nether bird bloodline awakens, bathed in an unnatural violet glow. Predatory grin spreads across his face as his eyes flare with unholy light. Behind, the warning came too late as the purple energy surged forward. A terrifying roar erupts as he unleashes his ultimate strike. A blinding explosion of blue and violet energy rips through the arena. The arena erupts. The sheer force of the unleashed power blinds and stuns the spectators. The nether bird awakens, manifesting as colossal, shadow purple wings. The nether bloodline awakened, eyes glowing with unnatural power. The arena shatters under the explosive surge of power. The beast emerged, eyes blazing with terrifying, electric light. The ground splits under the raw, blinding surge of chaotic power. Her spirit, once faltering, ignited into a shocking, incandescent purple. The earth shatters beneath the surge of gathering power. The surge of dark energy was gathering, blinding in its incandescent power. The overwhelming energy coalesces, surging toward the inevitable strike. A deafening impact rings out as raw energy surges forward, latent ability awakening. A silent, terrifying surge of power. The air crackled, consumed by Yi's surging, monstrous energy. A blinding wave of raw power erupted, met by an unyielding shield of feathers. The gathering energy surges, hinting at the true nature of the magical beast form. A scream echoes as pure terror grips the onlookers. The very energy of Yi's true form is gathering, coalescing into blinding power. The searing, volatile energy intensifies, crackling around the rising figure. The overwhelming surge of the magical beast's true form now emanated from him. The roaring crowd erupted as the announcer shouted, momentarily shielded from the blast by the mayor's swift action. The true form is unleashed, shrouded in dark, spectral wings of violet energy. A single strike, and the defense built from a mother's devotion was shattered. The ancestors' tablets loomed, a crushing weight of expectation. A monstrous presence looms, pinning the defeated fighter beneath an immense, chilling hand. The overwhelming strain finally hit, draining all will to fight. The transformation begins. Her eyes blaze with malevolent purple light, accepting the incoming power. Yi, channeling raw power, stares down their opponent, ready for the final blow. A brutal impact, the force of the strike radiating outward in shocking purple energy. The shock of impact registers, eyes blazing with unnatural purple light. His eyes burned with an unnatural, electric blue. A chilling glow ignites within his eye, signaling absolute focus. The raw power bursts forth, a blinding vortex of energy tearing the air. The glowing, feral intensity in those purple eyes spoke of raw, contained power. The raw power of the magical beast's true form culminates in a devastating downward strike. His eyes blaze with otherworldly light, channeling immense power into his outstretched hand. The impact rattles her to the core, a blow she hasn't felt since childhood. The full force of the gathering energy erupted in a blinding, violent shockwave. The pure, volatile energy is surging, gathering for the final blow. His eyes burned with an unnatural, terrifying glow, a genuine desire to conquer now unleashed. The raw power erupted, a devastating fusion that threatened to consume everything. The Demora template merges with hard Qigong, a devastating technique unleashed. The nuclear light combat body surged forth, eyes blazing with conviction. The ultimate power unleashes, shrouded in electric purple energy. The final clash erupted, unleashing an almost blinding torrent of raw, uncontrollable energy. The ultimate technique ignites. Yihi unleashes the power of the nuclear light combat body. The overwhelming force of the collision reached its terrifying peak. The nuclear light combat body unleashes its terrible power, a terrifying wave of energy exploding outward. The two world-shattering forces collide in a blinding nexus of purple and blue light. The final, devastating collision erupted in raw, blinding energy. The very air seemed to shatter under the blinding surge of kinetic energy, a blinding focus. The true form of the magical beast revealed, unleashing raw, catastrophic power, of our rings out. I will face you head on. The clash was absolute, raw energy tearing through the atmosphere, unleashing the full force of his nuclear light combat body. Liu Qingju unleashes her ultimate move, Netherworld Blood Thorns. The clash erupted, a blinding, soundless strike of raw energy tearing through the air. The officials watch in horror as the sheer force of the collision ripples outwards. A terrifying technique begins to coalesce, shining with volatile energy. A desperate gamble. The ley line walls shattered under the explosive impact. The raw power unleashed shattered the very air. A blinding collision of two absolute forces. The raw force of impact erupted, a blinding cloud consuming the arena. His gaze, burning with scarlet intensity, watched the aftermath unfold. The smoke clears, revealing the devastating aftermath of the clash. A single streak of blood marred her fierce, unwavering gaze. The shockwave hit the ground, marked by a deafening crack. The smoke clears, revealing the victor still standing tall. The shattering realization hit Liu Qingju like a physical blow. The smoke cleared, revealing the victor standing amidst the aftermath. The dust clears, revealing the victor. Yihi remains standing. The blinding energy surges, a chaotic clash of ultimate techniques. A moment of tender contact amidst the brutal aftermath. The raw power surrounding Yihi was electrifying, casting a spectral blue glow. The blinding smoke began to part, revealing the aftermath of the cataclysmic exchange. A slight, confident smirk plays across his lips, his intense blue eyes fixed on his opponent. Stunned by the sheer spectacle, a gasp escaped her lips. The smoke from the impact dissipated, and the one who appeared is Yihi. The smoke cleared, revealing the victor standing tall. The final contenders are displayed for all to see. The Dark Horse versus the Apex. The clash of titans begins now. The audience numbers surge, a testament to the spectacle unfolding. The stage is set. The final confrontation ignites with icy brilliance. The gap in strength was just too big. The ice breaks as Yihi surges, his power overwhelming the freezing technique. The power of Chuju's icy pulse surged, manifesting a chilling, colossal iceberg. Explosive fist. A blinding force shatters the icy prison. The sheer force of the impact shattered the arena like thin ice. Yi's golden eye blazed amidst the crackling, blinding surge of power. Chujo unleashes his ultimate power, an icy manifestation roaring to life. The chilling power erupts. Chujo manifests his true, formidable bloodline ability, the icy pulse. The power of Chuju's icy pulse was so strong that it formed an iceberg on the field. The icy surge nearly consumed him, but the sweat of exertion betrayed the struggle beneath the surface. The iceberg shatters, the icy prison broken by an overwhelming burst of energy. The devastating clash erupted, shattering the icy prison into fragments. The power of Chuju's icy pulse materialized, erupting into a towering, crystalline iceberg. The power of Chuju's icy pulse was so strong that it formed an iceberg on the field. The iceberg shatters, proving Chuju's icy power ultimately futile against Yi. The intensity flared, golden eyes burning through the icy shroud. The power of Chuju's icy pulse was so strong that it formed an iceberg on the field. The power of Chuju's icy pulse was so strong that it formed an iceberg on the field. The final, devastating impact strikes, shattering the icy defense. The gap in strength was just too big. Defeated, Chujo surrendered. The sheer force of Yi's breakthrough overwhelmed Chujo. My sword has been shattered. The final testament to a losing battle. How much of a chance will I have? The victor questions his own path. A blinding smile breaks through the ice. The victor accepting his hard-won triumph. The massive burst of icy power cracked the very foundations of the arena. He has triumphed. His supporters erupt in pure, unadulterated ecstasy. He, the victor, stands illuminated against the bright city sky. The tension mounts as the final confrontation between the two titans begins. The MC, now the champion, faces the overwhelming spotlight. The sudden spotlight. The microphone thrust forward. He was trapped in the winner's interview. The audience held its breath for the victor's words. 2 million. The headmaster's excitement was unrestrained. The headmaster's offer hung in the air. 2 million scholarship in exchange for fame. Finally, the ultimate acknowledgement. A powerful tribute to the man himself. A blinding light erupts as the system announces the reward. The stadium corridor, now briefly empty, held the echoes of sudden fame. The relentless pack of reporters swarmed, screaming questions as the victor desperately tried to escape. As he tried to escape the barrage of questions, the reporters showed him explicit content on their phones. The champion tried to bolt, but the pack of reporters pursued relentlessly. Phew. IV finally got an RIDOF those reporters. The raw power of the supergiant humanoid template surged, his grin feral and triumphant. A slight tip of the hat, a knowing smile hidden behind mirrored lens. The escape was successful, but the new acquaintance posed an unnerving mystery. The shimmering helix of genetic code pulsed, drawing the young man's stunned gaze. Your delivery is here. The glow of Prometheus illuminated the chamber. A spectral figure suspended in light. The message arrived, a physical letter in this digital age. The mysterious man from Wadu revealed a startling connection to Prometheus. A burst of nervous, almost manic laughter echoed in the corridor. Silence descends on the empty basketball court after the chaos. The victory was sweet, and the rewards were piling up. The system crackles to life, energy surging around him. He's ready to draw a new power, a final reward. A vortex of violent purple energy engulfs the sky, signaling a terrifying shift in power. His eyes blazed with an unnatural, incandescent light, staring into an unknown horror. A massive, alien entity materialized, crackling with dark purple energy. The system interface flickered to life, revealing the crucial data point. Bloodline. His eyes snapped wide, glowing with sudden, intense realization. The supergiant humanoid template, shimmering with cold, crystalline power. The king of monsters, a title earned through sheer power. A massive impact, radiating primal energy, tearing through the ground. A chilling intensity emanates from the man, his shadowed face filled with raw, barely contained rage. A spectral figure in an environmental suit, holding a blank report, stands against the void. A shocking realization hits, as immense blue energy explodes between them. The shadowy figure sneered, his eyes locked on Yi's reflection. What a university would soon be fighting for the rising star. Your delivery is here. A handwritten invitation arrives, an unexpected summons from Chujo, his features contorted in a desperate, sudden realization. A new secret realm beckons, drawing crowds under a blazing sunset. A blinding flare erupts, bathing the tightly packed crowd in an ominous, fiery glow. The crowd parts as a familiar figure spots the winner, calling out a greeting. The unsettling grin of a true competitor faced off against a confident, knowing smile. The secret realm is opening. A blinding surge of cosmic, purple energy erupts. A colossal shadow erupted, ripping through the silence. The first wave hits, a savage clash against the monstrous horde. Warriors unleash their powers in a desperate crimson struggle. The monster's furious assault was instantly silenced by an unseen, devastating force. A flash of violent purple energy tears through the colossal shadows of Redwood Mountain. The beast tide falters. The leader has fallen. A grim tally remains, but survival is the first victory. National laws demand priority. All warriors must fight the rising tide. The brutal tide of beasts rages, met by flashing blades and searing light. A devastating wave of ice energy erupts, shattering the demonic beasts caught in its path. Atomic explosive fist. A devastating impact tears through the monstrous form. The monstrous tide has broken, leaving only a field of carnage and bone. The monsters were utterly dissolved, leaving only skeletal remains bathed in blood. This was the terrifying fallout of unimaginable radiation. A sudden surge of power, crackling blue energy erupting around him. The beast tide's leader finally fell, unleashing a terrifying, ethereal power. Wait, didn't you watch the live broadcast of the college entrance examination this year? The energy surged, radiating a terrifying blue light around the central figure. Victory rings out beneath the looming, monstrous canopy. A somber realization settles as the dust clears from the chaotic fight. Huffing, he finally managed to secure the hard-won bounty. Beneath the colossal shadow, the young warrior's gaze burns with an unyielding, ice-blue intensity. The surviving warriors gathered, mixed with relief after the terrifying beast tide subsided. Wu Xin's intense gaze hinted at an ambition greater than mere friendship. The leader of the Silver Wolf martial arts group makes his irresistible pitch. Their jaws drop. The mere title of warrior was enough to send them into hysterics. A spectral tiger materialized, wreathed in violet flame, its arrival silencing the surroundings. A captivating gaze, lit by neon, holds a hidden agenda. The top scorer's immense power left everyone starstruck. Ignoring the noise, he focused on the unsettling stillness ahead. A firm handshake seals the temporary alliance beneath the vast blue sky. The leaders of the martial arts groups move in, eager to recruit the newly proven powerhouse. An impossible burst of speed. The clash of titans in motion. Beneath the turbulent, vibrant sky, they stood upon the strange, crimson canopy. Two small figures stood beneath the colossal, glowing canopy of Redwood Mountain. That maniacal grin was the mark of true, terrifying power. The greedy challenger stared, revealing a monstrous, sharp-toothed grin. The ocean boiled as a colossal, lightning-wreathed beast rose from the depths to swallow the small vessel whole. He points the way forward, his glowing eyes fixed on the path ahead. The confident duo stands ready, introducing their acquaintance to the powerful newcomer. The shore revealed a tense standoff between new arrivals and local power players. A surge of power erupts as the water breaks around the submerged warrior. I'm here to kill you, jackpot. We are going to be rich. The top scorers of An City College, finally in the clearing. A desperate plea as Yu Yang's aggressive intent becomes horrifyingly clear. The top scorer Yi, now recognized, stands with a powerful ally. A sudden confrontation erupted beneath the turbulent sky. The alien landscape loomed beneath strange, red-capped flora. A sudden burst of power erupts within the watery depths. The descent into the icy chasm was complete, the silence broken only by a sharp, chilling impact. The humid, chilling air of the cavern hung heavy, mirroring the dread in his wide eyes. The top scorers of An City College stand before them, their presence overshadowing the newcomers. The path ahead glows with an eerie, bioluminescent light, beckoning them deeper into the unknown. Continue. Those who are afraid of death should get out now. Yuli's acquaintances recognized the true power of the top scorers. They pressed deeper into the cold, narrow passage, a nervous energy fueling their descent. A sudden, violent burst of energy erupted from the core. Silence. The air thickens with unspoken realization. The top scorer and second-place contenders. Future legends walking among them. They stood at the threshold of the cavern, the unnatural blue light illuminating their apprehension. A chilling, predatory grin spreads across his face, illuminated by an unnatural light. The massive, alien structure loomed above them, dripping with sickly green vines, the remnants of a victim, ensnared and consumed by the relentless, spectral vines. The chilling realization hits as the monster's deception is exposed. A sudden shout pierces the bright sky. Li Wei, a spectral figure, twisted and controlled, floats before them. A chilling realization dawns upon them, dwarfing their earlier excitement. A chilling realization dawns amidst the oppressive red haze. Liweis dead, his mind fractured. The victim's horror mirrored the parasitic takeover. A sickening green surge erupts, consuming a warrior whole. Yu Yang cries out in horror. The spectral vines surged, a chilling, blue energy enveloping the warrior. The air crackled with latent energy, his eyes blazing with cold, blue power. The ghost demon vine reveals its horrifying, pulsating core. The monster's attack slams down, trapping them on the slick floor, revealing their dire situation. The top scorer, Yi, stares down the threat, an ice-cold gaze promising retribution. King-class monsters, a threat even first-level warriors struggle against. The air crackles as raw, electric fury erupts from within, a blinding flash emanating from the shattered, glowing remnants. The imposing figure loomed, bathed in hellish red light, demanding answers. The ghost demon vine raged, its energy consuming everything in its path. A monstrous cavern yawns before him, sharp teeth of rock promising imminent doom. Who are you, suddenly monologuing like this? The enraged warrior unleashes a terrifying, primal scream, engulfed in crimson energy. The mysterious man thrashed, engulfed in furious, blinding energy. A blinding, red-hot surge of energy erupts from the raging battle. A deafening blast ripped through the cavern as the fight raged overhead. She recoiled in shock, a sudden danger piercing the chaos. The ghost demon vine has gone completely mad, stirring up the lake floor into chaos. A blinding convergence of raw power, a final, desperate strike against the relentless monster. A violent surge of energy shattered the surroundings, sending debris flying in a blinding, icy explosion. The battle raged, the ghost demon vine lashing out in a furious torrent of water. A searing inferno of vengeful energy explodes outwards. A blinding surge of power crackled around the striking figure. The possessed warrior roared, his power surging with chaotic, blinding blue light. The final, terrifying blow, an atomic explosive fist. A devastating torrent of blue energy erupts, consuming everything in its path. The confrontation hung heavy, the air thick with unspoken history and simmering rage. Leave him to me. A stark command cut through the chaos. The lake's surface churned, reflecting the chaotic end of the battle. Emerging from the chaotic depths, a single desperate question cuts through the waterlogged air. The ghost demon vine was utterly annihilated, a blinding blue explosion tearing through the water. The massive power unleashed sent shockwaves through the water and sky. The battle culminated in an apocalyptic surge, shaking the very fabric of the lake bottom. Getoutoftheway. The intense battle has left them momentarily still, the aftermath settling in the damp earth. The man's triumphant, unnerving grin spoke volumes of hidden victory. The intensity of the confrontation left him reeling, a cold dread washing over his features. A terrifying purple vortex erupted, signaling the ghost demon vine's madness. They stared upward, aghast at the sudden transformation outside. 3 days later, the entrance to the secret realm transforms into a bustling town. Sack after sack, the immense hall crashes onto the appraisal table. The faint glow of the retrieved magic core pulsed softly in his hand. He slammed down the glowing, metallic prize, his exertion evident. That maniacal grin betrayed a chilling intent. Their greed was palpable, eyes fixed on the mountain of wealth before them. The crowd seemed momentarily stunned, captured by the sight before them. The green and white quality cores are useless now. Time to liquidate the gains. The outsider arrives, met by the wary gaze of the Liu family. A sleek, powerful vehicle descends, its polished surface reflecting the bright sky. The Liu family's residence stood magnificent, a testament to their martial arts lineage. The powerful engines roared, spitting smoke as the ride began. The terrifying creature roared, its massive, glowing maw demanding payment. An impossible surge of power erupts, forcing a primal cry from deep within. With a violent thud, he launches forward, escaping the blast zone. The principal clasps Yi He's shoulder, a knowing, welcoming smile on his face. The dealer's eyes flared with avarice, dazzled by the strange specimen Yi He presented. The medicinal wine, a token of honor for his elders, was presented with traditional reverence. The template's appetite demanded more. Strength was the only true currency. The buyer's excitement was almost maniacal, clutching the jar containing the rare specimen. The outskirts of An City. Brother G raced past, pushing the bike to its absolute limit. Brother G, you drive so fast. You are so awesome. The encounter took a violent, startling turn. A sharp impact shattered the tense moment. Brother G pushed his speed to the limit, mocking the bicycle trailing behind. Brother G speeds away in a burst of raw power, leaving the cyclist in awe. A shocking, resonant sound erupted as the power surged. A blinding surge of blue energy erupted, shattering the air. A burst of intense, crackling energy erupts. The shared bicycle suddenly accelerates, blurring the line between road transport and aviation. The imposing gates of the Liu family estate loomed ahead, a stark contrast to his humble arrival. The air crackled as Yi He arrived, greeted by a vision of grace. A confident stride ascends the lavish red carpet steps. The powerful matriarch descends, radiating an undeniable aura of authority. A flush of embarrassment washes over the student as the elder beams with unsettling adoration. Her eyes closed. A heavy decision weighed upon her. The screen showed the fierce duel, a blinding exchange of power. Qingju stood silent, the weight of her family's expectations pressing down as Yi He arrived. Qingju looked on, her wide eyes registering a growing unease. The chilling proximity, the soft yet inescapable grip on her jaw. Faced with powerful demands, the Liu family could not refuse a marriage alliance. Her wide, startled eyes reflected an unexpected reaction. A searing gaze, illuminated by an unnatural, burning purple light. Yi He, the young guest, is brought forward to meet the family matriarch. Her gaze, a captivating shock of purple, held a silent, calculating weight. She holds out a small gift, perhaps testing the waters of this arrangement. Tense silence hangs in the air as the auntie regards Yi He with an unnervingly intense gaze. They descended into the cold, stone depths, a tense silence hanging between them. The air in the stone chamber grew heavy, a silent tension between them. Too close. He pressed the advantage, shattering her composure with a single, suggestive word. Yi He's unbridled joy clashed with Qingju's mortified retreat. The deafening sound echoes as they faced the imposing, seemingly impenetrable wall. The massive wall, a testament to time, radiated in unyielding, frozen power. This person's brain is so strange. Shouldn't he be in awe of the stone's quality? The moment his fist connected, a blinding surge of blue energy erupted. The terrifying blue energy crackled, forcing a memory of raw power onto her startled senses. Again, the raw power unleashed left the specialized stone wall utterly untouched. Her sly smile betrayed a clear intent as Yi He braced, clearly uncomfortable with the sudden proximity. The sheer scale of this repository was breathtaking, holding centuries of secrets. The sheer scale of the entrance dwarfed them, a silent testament to the Liu family's wealth. Her beautiful, intense gaze tracked his every move, one sharp finger gesturing a warning. His strange demeanor only fueled Qingju's mounting frustration. The black power stone wall, a collection spanning generations, guarded the ultimate secrets. The heavy door slides open, shadows looming large against the polished stone floor. That's perfect. The devil in the flesh. Classmate Qingju's gaze felt distant, avoiding his own. That's perfect. The devil in the flesh. A black, glowing silhouette emerged from the blinding light. The Zhuanhuang martial art was not a book, but a statue manifesting tormented souls. A chilling presence resonated from the towering, ethereal statue. Anything can be the carrier of martial rhyme. The mysteries of the martial rhyme world began to unfold before her eyes. But big sis, you haven't even told me how to learn from this object. If you are fated, you will sense it. Slumped onto the cold, marbled floor, the world swam into focus. The observation room held the silent reality of his temporary weakness. The monolithic figure loomed, radiating an aura that dwarfed the small figure observing from afar. The monstrous form radiated terrifying power, its gaze burning with demonic intent. A sudden, blinding light consumes his vision. Sheer terror grips his soul. A divine, monstrous figure hovers, delivering a stark ultimatum over the trembling novice. The terrifying guardian loomed, its fierce, ancient eyes burning within the spiritual realm. The shadow looms, an echo of the ancient martial rhyme. A sudden surge of power illuminates his determined gaze. The spiritual world erupted with chaotic, searing red energy, challenging everything. The spiritual form loomed, its eyes burning with ancient, malevolent power. A blinding arc of golden light meets the onslaught of shadowy phantoms. The ominous roar of the possessed spirit split the spiritual void. The sheer power erupts, an incandescent blade clashing against a roaring, crimson shadow. His face contorted in sheer shock, eyes wide against the pale light. The system shields him, an automated grace against the spectral realm's dark forces. A maniacal roar erupts, eyes burning with unnatural, electric light. A blinding vertical light pierces the chaos as shadowy forms writhe and recoil. The spirit recoils, unable to comprehend this impossible immunity. The storm raged, but even the downpour couldn't wash away the terror in his eyes. The horde of vengeful spirits descended, their glowing fangs mocking his arrival. The imposing calligraphy seemed to strike down upon him. The ancient stone structure pulsed with a malevolent, crimson glow. He approaches the ominous well, the source of the dark inheritance. The remnants of what struck the stone surface sizzled with dark energy. The youthful challenger blasts forward, meeting the gaping maw of the spectral beast. The martial artist unleashes a blinding power, standing over the fallen. The monstrous form surged, wreathed in crimson and shadow. The spirit essence raged, a demonic manifestation within the martial rhyme. The observation room watches, silent and tense, as the fate of the trial unfolds. A searing pink energy engulfs his body as he collapses violently. The monitor glowed intensely, displaying a crimson-hued form within the sterile lab. Mother, it seems Yi's ordeal in learning this martial art isn't as exciting as you describe. The elegant woman, smoking languidly, exudes an aura that silences the younger girl beside her. The shock was palpable, reflecting the unnatural violet energy burning in those eyes. Victory erupted from him in a primal shout, his power finally mastered. Madam, your daughter is still by your side. Can you be a bit more reserved? The demonic essence pulsed, a terrifying bloom of crimson energy surrounding the armored form. A predator's gaze, sharp and calculating, locking onto his next target. The evil spirit I gained from the martial rhyme world surges with dark power. The two women rushed forward, their expensive dresses flowing dramatically. The sheer speed of his mastery left her utterly astonished. The raw power of the Zhuanhuang martial arts erupts in chaotic crimson and electric blue. A single, shocked breath escaped her lips. Her mesmerizing, vibrant purple eyes fixated on him with an undeniable, unsettling warmth. Madam, your daughter is still by your side. Can you be a bit more reserved? Mother, it seems Yi's ordeal in learning this martial art isn't as exciting as you described. The sheer audacity shocks her. A flicker of red suggests hidden strain beneath the glamorous facade. A contrast in footwear, utilitarian power meeting refined elegance on the polished floor. The sun speeds off, leaving Yi standing there, stunned by the sheer audacity of the theft. The flesh imprisons the demon, a path of Shura. The housekeeper mentioned alive in son-in-law. Now, the family son arrives, eager to investigate. That shared bike rider, He must be truly remarkable. The monstrous speed of the new ride leaves the runner choking on dust. The shockwave of his demonstration hit like a physical blow. The luxurious motorcycle sat waiting by the illuminated home. The monster core I swallowed didn't taste good before. The monster core didn't taste great last time. Now, I need some flavor. The system interface glows, showing host Yihi at 85% completion. The demonstration begins, a quiet warning in his gaze. Raw power surges through him as the system displays a critical choice. The flesh and blood imprison the demon. The body is like Shura. The system registered the strike, flashing bright against the digital void. A colossal surge of raw energy erupts against the void, signaling a cosmic achievement. The torment was unbearable, a raw scream ripping from his core. The monstrous entity, crackling with purple energy, roared against the cosmic backdrop. The monster core I swallowed didn't taste great. This time, I'll add some sauce. The silver-armored figure lands with predatory grace, her visor hiding all expression. The monstrous figure loomed, its metallic gaze chilling as it held the small boy captive. A casual threat, dismissed so easily, buying a new house was preferable to this conflict. I'm saying, you're already dead. The confrontation erupts in a flash of blinding energy. The confrontation escalates under the pale streetlights. A maniacal grin split his face, one eye glowing with unnatural power, trading one's life for the other's, a sacrifice made with the blood-burning forbidden technique. A sudden, brilliant flash of power erupts, shattering the air. The upgraded nano armor glowed against the darkening sky, its power surging. A sharp, hidden realization dawns in the eye of the storm. A metallic clatter breaks the silence as the manhole cover shifts. The alleyway descends into shadows beneath the cold gaze of the moon. The glowing armor betrayed her location, yet a strained intensity remained in her gaze. The ground trembles beneath heavy, measured steps. He looked down with a malicious grin, a casual acknowledgement of his true target. A roar of pure fury echoes as the enemy unleashes his raw power. The glowing schematic of Yao Yime's body materialized, an ethereal blueprint of power. A searing surge of energy, red and black, erupts from the devastating impact. The iron-crowned rhino demon beast boasts defenses that shrug off even tank fire. The masked figure, caught in the blue glow, silently watches the confrontation unfold. A chilling, otherworldly glow illuminates his gaze as a surge of dark power descends. The iron-crowned rhinoceros demon beast boasts an armor that laughs at tank fire. A predatory, monstrous grin spread across his face, eyes glowing with unnatural energy. A spectral, glowing form materialized behind him, radiating impossible energy. The iron-crowned rhino beast boasted its overwhelming defense against any attack. A blinding, vertical beam of energy struck the ground, shattering the stone around the kneeling figure. Failing in ambush only enraged the beast further. The iron-crowned rhinoceros demon beast reveals its true, terrifying form. A chilling, electric surge. His eyes burn with lethal intent. A blinding surge of energy erupted from the clash. A searing blue light exploded around him, reflecting sheer terror in wide eyes. The iron-crowned rhinoceros demon beast roars, its true form now revealed. The overwhelming force of the attack collides, a violent burst of pure energy. The transformation complete, a monstrous form now stood amidst the wreckage. The iron-crowned rhino recoiled, its monstrous form bathed in cold light. A devastating clash of power, blue lightning crackling around the monstrous form. The monstrous form roared, its luminous eyes fixed on its approaching fate. A burst of kinetic energy erupted, tearing through the air in streaks of blinding light. The molecular line struck home, a desperate, precise attack. The nanofilament lashes out, an extension of pure destructive force. The beast's terrifying, glowing eyes stare out from a frame of surging, electric power. The titan roars, a wave of raw energy washing over the battlefield. Trapped beneath the monolithic structure, the fight has reached its terrifying climax. The iron-crowned rhino towers over the city, a nightmare of mutated blue flesh. The molecular wire, pulled taut, sliced through the air like burning thread. The monstrous transformation crackles with dark, primal energy. A sudden transformation, eyes wide with terror and disbelief. A primal roar shattered the air as the monstrous form loomed. The molecular line struck true, yet the monstrous form endured. The molecular line, sharp enough to pierce metal, met the behemoth's surge. The hunter's face was frozen in pure, wide-eyed terror. The final memory was an endless, brilliant blue, before the darkness took hold. The final moments of the defeated giant were filled with only agony and fading light. Blood streamed down his face, the final words of his victim echoing in the silence. The victor stood, eyes burning with an unnatural, cold light. The desolate ruins echo with the sound of explosive force. A terrifying, maniacal grin splits his face, bathed in an unnatural, glowing blue light. The iron-crowned rhino delivered a devastating blow, shattering his foe's defenses. I might have gone too far this time. So this is the golden gene they were talking about. And Chin assures him things are settled, but warns him about the coming university term. So this is the golden gene those two were talking about. This symbol. I recognize it from the Prometheus file. Their laughter echoed, heavy with deceit as they concealed their prize. The victor's terrifying grin loomed over the young man's wide, shocked eyes. A sickening clang echoes through the chilling mountain air. A fissure opens between worlds, stained with violent red and shadowed teal. The air itself screamed as the sovereign-class Sinwolf unleashed its terrifying roar. Survive at all costs. Deploy the strongest forces immediately. A single, malevolent eye flared red, piercing the abyssal dark. The sky itself seemed to rupture, raining down massive, jagged shadows upon the fleeing masses. The desperate plea for backup went unanswered. The desperate call for aid went unanswered. The military was already stretched thin. The fifth-tier sovereign-class beast unleashed its terrifying roar. The monstrous sovereign-class beast loomed, its eyes burning with murderous, crimson light. From the depths of the B-class secret realm, a sovereign-class terror emerges. A colossal sound echoes through the skyscrapers, shaking the city to its core. The chilling reality of the evacuation order crushed their complacency. The air thrummed with the heavy beat of approaching forces, a terrifying prelude to chaos. The ominous clock tower of an city station stands against a bruised, violent sky. The chaos of the evacuation was punctuated by one small, urgent cry. The urgency in the air was palpable. Every tactical decision weighed heavily. The urgent call connected, but the line went dead. The sign for Chu Sensei stood firm against the ominous twilight sky. A savage grin splits his face as raw power explodes from his fist. The world outside paused for a single, impactful smack. A sudden shout split the tense, darkening sky. The confrontation was immediate, the silence broken by a shared glance at the device. The tension crackles between them, a silent challenge hanging heavy in the air. A chilling grin and clasped hands herald a dark intent. The city stood grandly, yet beneath a sky stained crimson with warning. Her shock was palpable, a stark contrast to the stoic resolve of the elder woman. Beneath her gaze, the shadow of a fifth-tier sovereign-class beast looms. A silent plea hangs in the air, shattered by a violent impact. We're leaving in city, a grim declaration amidst the looming danger. A flicker of violet, sharp and unforgiving, behind the flowing white hair. A monstrous chaos erupted under a bruised, violent sky. Tanks became battlegrounds for the encroaching horrors. A massive armored form descends, dominating the frame. A blinding blue slash tears through the chaos, meeting an inferno head-on. Boom. The armored behemoth crashes down, shaking the very ground beneath the lone silhouette. Her eyes widened in sheer, paralyzing shock. The white behemoth unleashes a deafening shriek, its eyes glowing with malice. A thunderous impact shook the very ground beneath them. A terrifying realization flashes across his face. A blinding surge of pure blue energy erupted. The colossal beast howls in agony as the small, flickering shadow descends. A colossal shadow falls as a monstrous limb plunges downward. Whoosh. A surge of dark power. The behemoth falls beneath him. A monstrous, predatory grin splits the face, illuminated by glowing, inhuman eyes. A colossal horror descends, its jagged maw ready to consume everything in its path. Standing within the gaping maw, he confronted the beast's monstrous stench. The colossal beast focused its deadly energy. A blinding blue surge tearing through the chaos. A blinding surge of chilling blue energy erupted from the monstrous maw. A gasp escapes them as they finally recognize the impossible figure standing amidst the chaos. A towering, demonic silhouette emerges from the churning smoke. A chilling, predatory grin flashes across the face amidst the chaos. The roar of raw power erupts, a blinding surge of azure energy. Against the burning city skyline, a monstrous silhouette descends. A silent moment before the storm, his aura radiating outward. The monstrous threat looms, its bulk dwarfing the soldiers who unleash a desperate barrage of gunfire. A desperate soldier's weapon flies wide as the surge engulfs them. The soldiers press the attack against the grotesque horror. Impaled upon monstrous protrusions, the fallen scatter beneath a hellish, crimson sky. A monstrous foot descends, crushing the battlefield beneath a rain of shadow and gore. Monsters descend from the bruised sky, their razor wings flashing. A blinding arc of energy slices through the darkness, meeting a grotesque maw. The soldier's wild eyes fixate on the chaos erupting before him. A shocking apparition erupts in crimson energy, trapping the soldiers in a nightmare of shadowy claws. A monstrous maw opens, dripping with dark energy and shadow minions. A blinding arc of energy shears through the monster's hide. The monstrous form is struck, its horns piercing through bone and flesh. The ground trembles under the savage, multi-headed monstrosity. The title screams. Thunderblaze. A massive purple beam of energy streaks downward, meeting the earth in an earth-shattering boom. The sky burned above the skeletal remains of the city. Reinforcements arrive under a blood-red sky, their presence shaking the ground. The city's top scholar has entered the fray. The fighter lunges forward, fueled by sheer adrenaline and rage. The earth vein seal wouldn't hold against the tide. A deafening roar echoed over the carnage, a testament to the monstrous tide. The earth vein seal buckles under the sheer, concentrated power of the attack. The shock of the attack washes over the defenders. A true Lord-class menace descending. The city burns under a suffocating, ash-choked sky. The Lord-class beast charges forward, an unstoppable wave of purple malice. The massive Earth-type attack finally connected, tearing through the air. The sky churns with dark energy above the city's glowing defense wards. A figure cloaked in faint, fierce light hovered against the darkened sky. A blinding flash erupted as the line of power tore through the air. The monstrous form lunged, its spectral fur crackling with dark energy. The sorcerer gathers immense, blinding power between his palms. A blinding, incandescent wave of energy surges forth, meeting the monstrous ascent. The earth vein seal falters against the tide of primal beasts. The man's eyes burned with focused rage, ready to unleash his plan. A figure descends from the ominous, purple sky. The mountain-crushing dominator hammer descends, tearing through the city skyline. The colossal form shifted, a mountain of darkness awakening. The air crackles as an overwhelming golden energy erupts violently. A flash of burning intent ignites beneath the ruinous landscape. The earth vein seal crumbled, revealing the terror beneath the stone. Burst martial, serpent surge. The earth vein seal cannot hold back this tide. The colossal beast recoiled, a geyser of thick, dark blood erupting into the storm-choked sky. The crystal prison shatters violently against the assault. The ground shatters under the monstrous impact. The colossal sovereign looms, its monstrous maw framed by a nightmare sky. A grim acknowledgement crosses his face as he processes the unfolding situation. He rushed forward, engulfed in a blinding, raw surge of power. The energy erupted, manifesting phantom limbs blazing with golden power. The monstrous Lord-class beast coils, emanating raw, terrifying power. The Lord-class beast revealed its true, monstrous visage, eyes burning with malevolent green light. Caught within the crushing might of the Lord-class beast's attack, the mountain-crushing python rises, a colossal emerald horror bristling with razor spikes. The king species beast was enraged. Its mount had been struck. The earth vein seal is failing, and the monstrous tide surges forward. The trap was sprung, a moment of sudden, blinding realization. A sudden, jarring impact rings out across the battlefield. The colossal ape roared, its red eyes burning with contempt. Foolish human, what do you think you are doing? The blood-eyed spike, revealed from within the stone's maw. The lord-class beast glowered, its malice burning bright in those crimson eyes. The massive king species beast slams down, tearing the earth apart in a blinding shockwave. The monster gloated, its massive claws emerging from the black smoke. His body struggles against the crushing, dark power. A final gasp of resistance. A final, blinding surge of golden energy erupts skyward. The city crumbled beneath a furious, incandescent assault. The behemoth roared, its savage, glowing eyes fixed on the fading light. A game designed to drown humanity in fear and despair descends upon them. The mare stands defiant, a solitary figure against the blinding, cataclysmic light. The trapped beast explodes with raw, blinding golden power, shattering its prison. The monstrous general stares down, his demonic crimson eyes promising only annihilation. The earth splits open, an abyss of ruin swallowing the light. The monstrous entity roared its defiance, bathed in an eerie purple glow. The sky churns with a dreadful energy as the battle tears the very earth apart. The monstrous entity descended, teeth bared in absolute predatory triumph. The monstrous being roared, engulfed in a blinding, devastating surge of purple light. The sound of impact echoed as the stone prison fractured around them. A sudden burst of blinding, sacrificial light erupted from within the mare's hand. The ultimate forbidden technique unleashes, bathing the battlefield in blinding, searing light. The beast recoiled, caught in the devastating trap. Lured into this fury, earth demise sealed. A deafening roar as the earth violently tears itself apart. Knave human, you think you can simply bury me? The sealed beast roared its defiance, malice burning in those crimson eyes. With a savage roar, the mayor revealed the badge of his ultimate sacrifice. The mayor made his final, desperate move, the trigger, implanted deep within his own beating heart. The monstrous rage boiled over, its eyes burning crimson against the gloom. A final, horrifying smile, painted in crimson. His final proclamation rings out, a sacrifice offered freely for his citizens. A blinding, incandescent pillar of fire erupted violently. The light swallowed him whole, a blinding, violent him. A sudden, blinding light erupted from the sky, painting the turbulent clouds in shades of violent crimson. A towering mushroom cloud rose, a violent, furious bloom against the darkening sky. The final message relays the terrifying aftermath of his sacrifice. Tears streamed down the mayor's face, a heavy sacrifice etched onto his features. Beneath a bruised and angry sky, tears mingled with the dust of sacrifice. The survivors stood amidst the scorched earth, witnessing the final, terrible sacrifice. A towering mushroom cloud bloomed, its ascent like a terrible, fiery gravestone rising from the earth. A devastating explosion tears through the battlefield, bathing everything in malevolent crimson light. A deafening shockwave tore through the air, a violent, incandescent starburst of energy. The skeletal hand crackles with corrupted power, summoning legions of shadows below. The skeletal form writhed, bathed in violent, corrupted power. A demonic crimson eye glowed amidst the terrifying darkness. The beast roars in disbelief, its very essence seething with rage against a mere human. A monstrous form erupts, veins throbbing with dark power beneath glowing red eyes. The monstrous form stabilized, bathed in the chaotic crimson dust of the battlefield. The monster's mind reels, struggling to process the unbelievable shock. The monstrous foe roars in stunned disbelief as the human unleashes in terrifying aura. The beast's monstrous form crackles with violent, azure energy. The monstrous titan looms, its eyes blazing with furious, ethereal light. His eyes, burning with cold, electric blue, held a chilling certainty. A blinding blue aura erupted, fueled by pure, unadulterated hatred. The sovereign's rage erupted, manifesting as raw, crackling lightning. The monstrous presence crackled with raw, brilliant blue energy. A blinding surge of azure energy ripped through the skyline. The mayor's final trap is springing into action. A shockwave tears across the bruised sky, announcing the monster's agonizing stand. A roar of pure shock escapes the behemoth, its glowing red eyes fixed on the impossible power before it. The titan, surging with raw, crystalline power, roars its challenge. His monstrous form roared, the raw power radiating from him undeniable. The monstrous figure recoils, its roar spitting defiance against the human ingenuity it faces. The sheer force slams down, shaking the very foundation of the world. A blinding arc of power slams down, shaking the very ground beneath. The monstrous form churned, radiating an overwhelming, icy power. The colossal power is unleashed, mountain shifting, sea flooding strike. The beast screams, engulfed in violent, sickening purple energy. The world fractured as impossible power erupted, a blinding nexus of purple light and shattering crystal. The sky ruptured, pierced by a blinding column of pure energy. The monstrous limb, scorched and bleeding indigo energy, plummeted from the heavens. The beast roared, its jaws massive and filled with crystalline teeth. The monstrous form collapsed, finally defeated. The beast lord's desperate chant echoes against the overwhelming power surge. His eyes glowed with an unholy, blazing blue intensity. Strike. The final, devastating blow descended in a blinding column of energy. The surge of power consumed him, a silhouette against blinding blue light. An overwhelming silhouette rises above the ruins, a titan emerging from the dust. The shockwave of pure energy pulses outward, revealing the hidden power. A monstrous claw slams down, crackling with overwhelming blue energy. The ground trembles as the colossal, armored form descends upon the ravaged earth. The colossal beast unleashed a torrent of pure, chilling energy. The very air screams under the sheer, blinding force of that attack. Cursing the failed ambush, the monstrous form thrashed in agony. The final, desperate core energy erupted in a shockwave of blinding purple light. A devastating strike erupts, a blinding torrent of energy tearing through the rock. A maw of jagged obsidian and fangs, a monstrous silhouette blotting out the light. Don't push your luck, you vile worm. A desperate sacrifice, burning the last of the magic cores. The creature writhed, consumed by volatile, crackling purple energy. A final, desperate surge of power erupts into the chaotic sky. The behemoth unleashes a terrifying storm of crystalline power. The demonic aura surges upward, a terrifying pillar against the bruised sky. A final, desperate groan escapes as the monstrous form is ripped apart. A chilling smirk, framed by shadow and glowing eyes. The taste of blood only fuels the malevolence. The monstrous jaws snapped shut, bathing the scene in a blinding, cold blue light. The psychic assault struck, sending blinding agony through his mind. The entrance surges with spectral hands, grasping wildly from the abyss. A monstrous maw of darkness, lined with grasping hands, breaks the surface. With terrifying power, this behemoth loomed. Could this be an overlord? Tendrils of white hands erupted from the energy, sealing off any chance of escape. Burning the last of his reserves, a final, desperate surge erupts. A torrent of searing blue and violet energy erupts, taking on an ominous, shadowy form. The final, desperate magic core energy exploded outward in searing, ethereal blue flames. A terrifying surge of blue and violet hellfire erupts. Trapped within this hellish surge of spectral hands, he claws toward the blinding gateway. The colossal form began to coalesce, its single, baleful red eye locking onto the threat. The blinding azure flame erupted, a final, desperate surge of magical essence. Caught. A grotesque maw erupts from the shadows, glowing with malevolent, otherworldly energy. An eerie chorus of spectral hands rose up, an inescapable net of icy energy. Hands emerged from the darkness, locking the joints, stifling all movement. A devastating wave of power erupted, blindingly bright against the dark sky. The ruins of An City stood testament to the devastating cost of victory. A sickening crunch echoes in the void, the sound of a last, terrible moment. The searing light pulsed, a captured star held within grasping hands. The air shatters under the colossal, deafening impact. The brutal battle was won, yet he remained spent. A blinding fury erupts. Escape is not an option for the guilty. Raw power surged, blue lightning crackling around his straining hands. The black ape thrashed, consumed by the blinding, raw energy of the nuclear detonation. The colossal beast, momentarily stunned, recoiled against the blinding, raw energy. A final, manic gesture, a crude offering born of pure spite. A blinding, raw energy exploded outward, the terrifying visual climax of the battle. The rift wavered, its unnatural energy convulsing violently. Had Mayor Wong's desperate gamble finally paid off? The monstrous ape was finally erased by the city's desperate nuke. The relentless siege finally ended after a day and a night of brutal fighting. The siege was won, but the victory was paid for in crimson. The secret realm, site of the previous nuclear blast. The brutal battle had ended, leaving the victor battered on the scorched earth. His electric blue eyes glared up at the tumultuous sky, scarred but alive. The Overlord-class beast descended, a primal fury roaring above him. He stood scarred but resolute, amidst the fading echoes of nuclear annihilation. The glowing core pulsed, encased in thorny, surging vines. The sun rises over the shattered skyline, bathing the exhausted survivor in its harsh light. 1 month after the siege, the citizens of Sha Nation remembered their fallen heroes. 1 month after the devastating siege, he paused, caught in the aftermath of chaos. A month after the siege, the world was still burning. A single word, suspended in the aftermath of the cataclysmic battle. 1 month after the siege, the great estates reflected a chilling stillness. An Qin lounged languidly, her expression unreadable as she considered his audacious proposal. An Qin considered the audacious proposition with a cool, knowing silence. A familiar, knowing smirk crossed his face as he listened to the proposition. That smug grin belied the gravity of the situation, a dangerous confidence while making a call. She turned, a sheer, ethereal white dress catching the morning light. The bandages concealed a terrifying gaze as a visitor burst in, laughing maniacally. A cheerful rival, already discharged, greets the bandaged hero. His leg was completely lost to the fight, yet he wears a confident, almost smug smile. Luo Shan, a hero who paid a heavy price to defend the city, stood ready. A sudden, frantic energy surged as the call demanded attention. A furious voice demanded he lift the blocks from the prestigious Wadi University recruiters. The call connects, his unnerving azure eyes focused on the conversation. The room filled with chatter, yet Ye remained detached, observing the heavily bandaged man speaking. A few days later, at the Swan Lake nuclear blast site, the aftermath of the battle left a shroud of rising ash and energy swirling around him. The ominous light flares from the host's eye as the system interface updates. The raw power erupted, the synchronization rate climbing ever higher. Level 1 alert. Wadu train under attack by unknown enemy. Unfortunately, the terrifying power unleashed by the attack engulfed everything. An City Central Hospital. So, An City, we are about to leave here. This was my first stop since crossing over, and also my point of origin. Farewell, An City. The arrival of the prodigy sent a jolt through the surrounding crowd. A blinding light pierced the clear sky, a sheer force of energy radiating outward. A sudden, terrifying wave of pure oppressive power radiates outward. A desperate lunge, fueled by sheer will, he had to make the departure. Attention passengers. Train G6666 departing from this station to Wadu West Station will depart in 5 minutes. A knowing smirk plays across his face as he greets his unexpected visitor. Under the wide, bright sky, his gaze remained intense, meeting the future head-on. The glittering metropolis of An City stood tall, bathed in a sterile, almost heavenly light. Attention passengers. Train G6666 departing from this station to Wadu West Station will depart in 5 minutes. The handsome Chujo, still surrounded by admirers, now faces a familiar, injured rival. The elite train, built for speed and safety, begins its journey to Wadu. The train ride began, carrying the elite toward their new destiny at Wadu University. I used my life sense to probe the surroundings. A sudden jolt in the otherwise smooth transit. What could have startled this elite passenger? So annoying. A nap for recovery was all I wanted amidst this chaos. A sharp impact shook the floor as a strange figure stepped forward with predatory intent. The crimson bullet train speeds onward, shrouded in motion blur and an ominous gray void. A gasp echoes as the wounded student collapses, blood staining the doorframe. A hidden domain traps the victims, isolating the battle from the outside world. This confrontation reveals the hardened skepticism of the strongmen blocking the way. The masked youth stood tall, radiating immense, cold power. Such powerful force totally out of our league. The imposing brute steps forward, radiating aggression and disbelief. The powerful senior surged forward, deaf to all warnings, pushing toward the supposed danger. His glowing eyes fixated, sensing an anomaly in the crowd. The intensity of the hidden anomaly radiates, even as he struggles to process the shocking turn of events. His eyes, wide with shock, reflected a terrifying reality. A desperate struggle unfolds as a foe holds the woman captive, blade poised for the final strike. A raw cry escapes, fueled by blood and despair. The promise must be kept, no matter the cost. With raw, animalistic fury, the brute struck, spilling blood across the unsuspecting student. His defiance burns brightly. He honors a sacred promise made to her parents. A wave of raw terror washed over him, his composure utterly shattered. A chilling roar erupts as a figure bathed in searing blue energy clashes with the encroaching darkness. Such powerful force totally out of our league. Enough talking. The brute's patience has finally snapped. The words were futile. The brutes ignored the warning. Let's go. Let's see what's going on, he declared, charging ahead. This sealed entrance, glowing with unstable purple energy, must be the portal. His annoyance was palpable, even amidst the chaos. A shocking violet vortex ripped open the air, swallowing something whole. He stood firm, unswayed by the escalating panic around him. A brute force strike shrouded in crackling purple energy shatters the entryway. Staggered by the blinding light, the world spins into vertigo. His gaze cut through the strange, luminous purple haze. The brute lunges forward, enveloped in raw, surging purple energy. What is this freaky place? Don't try to play ghost games with me. A blinding surge of azure energy pierced the darkened sky, tearing through the cityscape. A deafening impact rocks the monolithic surface. A desperate glare, eyes blazing with raw, crackling power. A violent, sweeping strike cuts across the frame, energy crackling below. A blinding surge of electric blue power erupts, a desperate, final stand against oblivion. The aftermath of that massive explosion hung heavy in the shattered light. A single drop of blood stained her pale skin, her eyes wide with shock and fading light. The earth trembles beneath the arrival of an unstoppable force. The masked butcher looms, his pig-head visage dripping with contempt for the glowing challenger. The pig mask stares out, eyes burning with malevolent, unnatural light, blinded by an explosive burst of unnatural blue light. The masked figure tumbled violently through the air. The explosive aftershock was blinding, yet one soul remained unnervingly unscathed. The grip tightens, ready for the inevitable impact. The masked brute grinned, his eyes glowing with sinister power. Furious hands grabbed at the monster's snout, desperate to reveal what lay beneath. A devastating surge of blue energy erupted, momentarily blinding the battlefield. The moment of victory was sharp, tearing the pig mask away. The prized possession, ripped clean from the shattered mask. The enemy's weapon, charged with aura, shatters against the surprisingly durable flesh. The shockwave of that last attack barely registered on his face, emanating raw power, The masked figure descended in a shroud of ominous, crimson energy. Another wave descends, bathed in an eerie, electric glow. This manic gleam in his eyes signals an immediate, dangerous rush. A blinding surge of power erupts as the armored figure unleashes a devastating blow, impaled and silhouetted against the blinding light. The assault was overwhelming, a chilling smile beneath eyes blazing with uncontrolled power. A terrifying, shimmering entity erupts in chaotic violet and crimson energy. The sheer force of the impact ripped the very essence of the attack apart. A catastrophic blast rips through the skyscraper, an absolute display of destructive power. What happened over there? The entire building. Emerging from the smoke, a figure strides through the devastated terrain, weapon held low. From the purple void, the masked rabbit leaps down, its eyes burning with sinister intent. A flash of purple energy consumed the impact zone, forcing an immediate, desperate counterattack. The masked figure, defying gravity, strikes with blinding speed. His eyes snapped wide, reflecting the violent purple shockwave. The blinding, electrified tip of the weapon stops just short. An immediate defense. An imposing wall of ice bursts forth. The city's skyline crumbled under the violent display of power. The executioner descends, sword blazing with cold light, meeting the gaze of the rabbit-masked target. The rabbit-masked figure moves with an unnatural, chilling grace. The rabbit mask retaliates with shocking, inhuman power. The monstrous rabbit paused, confusion flashing in its glowing red eyes. Finally caught you, cutie. A shocking, incandescent beam shattered the cityscape. The ruined structure stands bathed in an ethereal blue glow. The chaos has ended. A moment of strained silence settles over the survivors. The nation's elite are already moving, hunting the masked figures across the trial grounds. The sheer, glowing prestige of Wadu Academy was undeniable. The blinding light erupted, a raw display of unbelievable power shattering the silence. Railgun, give me a break. How could such a weapon exist here? The air crackled with impossible energy, illuminating the stunned figures below. The dazzling blue light receded, leaving him standing in grim stillness. The metallic sheen of the weapon caught the light, stained dark with fresh carnage. The collected pendants swung heavily, trophies of recent victory. The dragon's dark mane writhed, glowing with menacing violet energy under the harsh light. Two imposing figures survey the aftermath, their casual confidence a stark contrast to the vanished threat. The rage was barely contained beneath the shroud of the hood. His glowing eyes promised reckoning. A single, brilliant green pendant is held aloft, evidence of a successful hunt. The silent victor stands over the subdued foe, demanding answers. The masked phantom lunges, teeth and claws ready for the kill. A shocking impact tears through the earth, glowing with residual heat. The scorched earth still radiates heat. They haven't gone far. The air crackles with dark energy, his gaze locked onto the fleeing prey. A blinding, crystalline blade flares to life, crackling with furious blue energy. An absolute spike of raw, frozen power erupted, shattering the landscape. The city skyline, a monument to what once was, now bears the scars of conflict. The ice spikes erupted, a blinding, freezing wall between them. The new student, Lan Yusi, erupts in raw power. The sheer force unleashes a blinding wave of crimson energy erupting outward. He breathes out, the residual smoke of his power dissipating as he calmly prepares his next move. The imposing figure stood amidst the fading smoke, demanding answers. A swift, brutal grip cuts off her breath entirely. The sheer force impacted, distorting flesh like raw energy. A desperate gasp, a surging cloud of dark power erupts from his core. The power unleashed was overwhelming, dissolving their defenses in an instant. Clapping was enough to disperse the fire cloud. What kind of power is this? The air crackled as the wind swept forward, wielding an invisible, sharp force. The shockwave detonates, raw power consuming the space in a blinding, fiery eruption. A disarming smile masked his true intent, hiding the power he was about to reveal. A massive, crackling fist of raw power descends upon them. The blinding energy erupted, a shockwave that scattered blood and light. The air shatters as devastating force slams into the ground. A terrifying realization dawns as an unbreakable barrier restricts their power. The overwhelming presence of the demonic aura descends, red and black consuming the sky. A sudden, shocking force met her golden defense. The frozen ground shatters beneath the impact of their decisive step. Trapped, her only thought was escape. A desperate grasp, locking onto the ankle with blinding force. A look of pure, wide-eyed horror washes over her face. The crushing blow lands, sending the enemy crashing down into the dark earth. The raw power of the barrier-breaking fist surges forward, eyes glowing with furious resolve. A sudden, blinding burst of power erupts. The imposing characters of a forbidden technique loom over the chaos. The victor displayed his spoils, 2 jade pendants gleaming, while the defeated knelt in utter defeat. A wicked smile promised chaos. Time to stir up some trouble. A chilling, masked smile appeared, basking in an ominous purple glow. Somewhere in the dead city, the ruins of civilization stand stark against the pale sky. He snatched the struggling figure, racing through the urban ruins. The realization hit him like a physical blow. Eyes wide with dawning horror. Z, look at that corpse. A few minutes ago, why did Xin Chen die here? And that brutal slash wound. He stared up at the looming skeletal structures of the dead city, the air thick with gloom. A sudden intrusion shatters the tense silence. The moment of impact. A razor-sharp blade cuts the air, aimed at the cornered freshman. That chilling slash wound, the mark of Dragon Mask. The brute force of the Dragon Mask shattered reality, leaving only a trail of crimson and dark shadows. Ouyangzi and Yan Zhengshang, the top threats from Evil City, survey the desolate landscape. The Dragon Mask was supposed to remain confined to the underground. A single, choked sound escapes, lost in the deepening dread. The trial's mechanics shift. One pendant glows unlocked above the crossed-out failures. We must secure those pendants before the Dragon Mask finds them all. The Nether Spirit Bird bloodline awakens, bathed in a blinding surge of golden power. A divine, golden-winged entity erupts in blinding light above the ravaged cityscape, hiding in the ruins of this eerie, shattered city. Her luminous eyes betrayed a deep, shattering defeat. A sudden photo captures the chilling glee of one antagonist and the wide-eyed terror of the other. The toll of the brutal fighting was etched onto her very skin. A tremor echoed through the ruined cityscape, announcing danger. Trapped and sensed, escape is impossible. The coming fight for the pendant is inevitable. Recognition dawns. The ethereal being is Liu Qingju. Above the ruins, a creature of burning gold soars through the shattered skyline. A violent, searing arc of golden power cuts through the air. That chilling voice echoed, a presence he recognized with dread. 4 jade pendants, pulsing with a captured light, confirm the grim bounty. The true power of the Dragon Mask is unleashed. A blinding, violent domain erupts. The Dragon Mask caster materialized, his massive, glowing wings blotting out the darkness above the shattered terrain. The Dragon Mask unleashes a terrifying, world-bending power within the field domain. The domain activated, trapping them with raw, terrifying power. The cityscape felt fractured under a strange, pale sky. The Dragon Mask unleashes a blinding burst of summoned energy. The raw power felt palpable, crackling around his clenched fist. The Dragon Masked figure issues a cold directive, his gaze unwavering. The domain seals them in, a monstrous aura erupting behind the caster. A chilling resolve ignited in his eyes, mirroring the frost of his blade. The electric blue power erupts, shattering the air around the maniacal caster. The Dragon Mask unleashes a blinding surge of power. Trapped within the chilling purple domain, his eyes widen in sudden, stark realization. The Dragon Mask's devastating domain unleashes an inescapable torrent of ice and power. The roar of the beast's spirit materialized, its eyes burning with primal fury. The summoned Dragon Mask unleashed its icy, monstrous might against the rising tide of battle. The victor surveyed his defeated opponent with bored contemplation. A desperate energy flares, a silent cry for aid echoing in the void. The blinding clash of steel erupts against the encroaching darkness. His arrogance boils over. A final, desperate threat against the invisible foe. The ambush was devastatingly swift, a shocking blur of arcane energy. The world ripped open in a blinding flash of electric blue energy. The world distorted as the power unleashed, tearing through the street with blinding blue force. 3 brutal minutes later, the fight was over. His rage boiled over, a primal scream against the inevitable. Defeated, all he could offer was silent resignation. The victor stands tall, hefting the colossal, menacing blade over the defeated foe. The monstrous, crystalline blade pulsed with electric, otherworldly energy. The victor examines the spoils, finding something far more intriguing than expected. A vibrant green jade pendant, glowing with internal energy. The world warped, darkness descending as the domain asserted its presence. A devastating attack leaves him broken, suspended against the gathering storm. The searing pain of the nether sparrow awakening flares, a desperate counter against the overwhelming dark. The dragon mask descends, cloaked in terrifying, swirling purple energy. The signal flare ignited, a desperate plea piercing the night sky. The dragon mask loomed, a gaping maw of monstrous teeth in the violet haze. A chilling surge of dark power erupts, shattering the sterile environment. The final blow missed its mark, leaving only a gaping wound in the world's edge. The damaged stone groans under the urgent climb. She pushed upward, ascending into the ominous, blinding light of the next floor. Guangzi won't last much longer under that monstrous mask. She scrambled upward, every step a painful testament to the fight she just lost. A searing light erupted, marking the moment of ultimate change. The nether sparrow awakened, unleashing a shockwave of violet energy across the confined space. A violent tremor as the exhausted fighter crashes to the ground. A monstrous, glowing eye pierces through the dark, accompanied by deafening, powerful strikes. A desperate edge, a final lunge into the void. The vibrant glow of the nether sparrow seemed to freeze her heart. A terrifying, searing purple glare erupts from the darkness. The highest tower pulsed under an oppressive, violet energy. The terrifying dragon mask descended, his form glowing with malevolent purple energy. The dragon mask strikes, wreathed in terrifying, purplish energy and malice. The awakened power manifested, searing light splitting the vision. The dark void shatters, pierced by raw, incandescent power. The blinding light of the nether sparrow technique unleashes a devastating arc of power. The skyscraper groaned under the sheer force of the impact. The nether sparrow unleashes its blinding, chaotic power against the looming structures. The signal flared high above the ruined cityscape, a desperate beacon against the twilight sky. The dragon mask makes his descent, cloaked in ominous, crackling power. The dragon mask looms, radiating dark energy against the bruised sky. The relic, a final, desperate attempt, lodged deep into his unforgiving flesh. A blinding, violet surge of power erupts around the monstrous form. The summoning concludes with a violent surge of power. The nether sparrow has awakened. The nether sparrow awakened, tearing the very air with a deafening impact. A terrifying clash of light and shadow erupts in the supernatural domain. The colossal structure buckles under the raw force of the unseen attack. The air shatters under the force of the devastating, purple-hued assault. A monstrous roar tears through the air, cloaked in swirling purple energy. A blinding discharge of purple energy engulfs him. The world fractured under a blinding, vertical discharge of purple energy. A blinding explosion erupted, consuming the air in shades of violent blue and purple smoke. The beast roared, its demonic blue energy radiating pure, terrifying power. The very structure groaned under the colossal surge of blue, destructive energy. So strong since coming to this world, I finally encountered a worthy opponent. A chilling resolve settles in his eyes, glowing with nascent power. A deafening impact shatters the air as dark energy erupts. Even with his mask gone, the true power erupts in a violent surge of purple energy. His eyes burned with an unnatural, electric blue light. The clash erupted, raw power tearing through the air in a violent, purple shockwave. The raw power radiating from him was terrifying. A terrifying crimson focus ignites within the swirling purple void. The blinding, purple energy sliced through the air, a lethal arc aimed directly at his core. A terrifying, blue-tinged intensity burns in his eyes. The mask shattered. The blinding, energized blade slices through the air, charged with deadly intent. The blade shatters under the immense pressure. A primal scream tears through the air as raw power manifests. The mask shatters, revealing a terrifying, incandescent grin. A massive, dark form descends through a hazy, purple light. The burning crimson in his eyes flares, a silent declaration of defiance against imminent defeat. The clash ignites, a furious burst of blue energy tearing through the air. The shattering sound echoed as the beast's form broke apart before him. The dragon's dark form recoiled from the blow, a massive impact echoing in the violent purple light. A terrifying transformation, fueled by primal rage. The energy explodes outward in a blinding, blue-white shockwave. The enemy's face contorts into a terrifying, predatory grin, eyes blazing with dark energy. A blinding light erupts, revealing the towering silhouette of his opponent. The shattered blade falls away as the shadowy hand descends. The blade meets the armored foe in a flash of violet energy. The monstrous claw reached out, energy crackling around the desperate parry. A blinding surge of purple energy flashes, meeting the hardened structure head-on. A blinding flash as their blade meets an impossible defense. His eyes burned with feral desperation, pushing past the limit. The clash erupts in a blinding storm of crimson and black energy. A vortex of crimson energy screams across the devastated cityscape. The Faceless One unleashes a terrifying aura, closing in for the kill. The sheer, incandescent power erupted as he unleashed his strike. The mountain-blocking fist and black flash collide in a searing, blue-white detonation. The devastating power of the infused treasure struck again. Second punch. The ultimate move, mountain-blocking fist and black flash, erupts in blinding, chaotic energy. The dragon pendant unleashed a blinding surge, tearing into the structure of the illusionary city. The earth shatters around him as raw power surges through his ravaged form. A deafening crack, the final shattering of reality. The final blow descended, fueled by sheer, desperate power. A final, dreadful farewell echoes as the dark power consumes him. The terrifying power of the black flash erupted, shattering the very stone around him. The dragon pendant, now grasped, pulsed with an unnatural, chilling power. The killing intent infused in this weapon burned hotter than ever before. The victor stood amidst the wreckage, panting, as the defeated opponent collapsed. Her eyes snapped wide with shock and disbelief. Jujo was right. Her gaze hardened, reflecting the lingering pain of defeat. Juju's wide, shocked eyes met Yihi's intense gaze. A sudden, awkward silence hangs between them, raw relief mixing with lingering tension. The full array of the 12 zodiac pendants lay before him. A thoughtful frown settles over his face, the mystery of the dragon pendant hanging heavy in the air. His terrifying strength, fueled by the cursed treasure, burst forth in a flurry of devastating strikes. A desperate question hangs in the air as the world flickers around them. A blinding light erupts above the skyline, tearing through the ominous clouds. Look up at the sky. What is that? Look upattsky. What is that? A blinding light erupted from within the eye, intensity reaching its peak. The sky fractured, a catastrophic eruption of light and raw power. The harsh reality of the illusion shatters, leaving them stunned in the transport. A sudden burst of power radiates through the darkness. His eyes, blazing blue, held the weight of a battle just concluded. The illusion shatters, and the reality of the freshers floods back in. A burning intensity flared within his eyes, an inescapable, electric blue. The dragon pendant flared, surrounded by the ominous, roaring shadows of the true hunter. A monstrous form, all pulsating red muscle and sinew, descends upon the helpless figure below. Even without pedigree, that evolved template possessed a terrifying, broken freeze ability. Even on the crowded train, The tension simmered as they watched the newcomer. The powerful presence of the golden-haired youth commanded the attention of every passenger. The young vampire, eyes blazing with predatory hunger, extends an inviting hand toward the city he seeks to conquer. The audacious offer had stunned the onlookers into disbelief. The sheer luxury of the dorm room left him momentarily stunned. So this is what is expected of a big city. The train arrived at a futuristic platform, silhouetted against the towering neon city. The doors hissed open, revealing the next stage of their journey. The sleek maglev train tore through the atmosphere, a metallic beast announcing their arrival. The arrival at this floating metropolis left everyone stunned. A sudden, jarring recognition cuts through the air. Her commanding presence, framed by an aura of effortless allure, left the young man utterly flustered. They stared up at the impossible sight. The colossal moon hanging in the deep purple twilight. A blinding surge of energy erupts from the sleek craft as it cuts through the smoke-choked air. The aircraft tore through the clouds, hitting a brilliant, hexagonal barrier. The magnetic gate loomed, protecting the ascent to this floating city. A deafening roar as the transport slices through the air. The colossal structure hummed with energy, reaching toward the heavens. This is the gateway to the impossible city. The towering architecture of water reveals itself as the elevator ascends to impossible heights. A tense, unfamiliar space opened before him. The feast was complete. The vampire's power surging through him. The glorious, fully equipped suite awaited, complete with a massage bathtub. The rich rewards of cultivation settled in, leaving him exhilarated on the plush bedding. But I need to get down to business, so fast. And they use drones for delivery too. The package arrives, revealing glowing magical cores, the spoils of his calculated purchase. The racket template is fully unlocked at 100% compatibility. The ingestion was too much, yet the effects were undeniable. The newly sharpened fangs and claws gleamed, a testament to his monstrous upgrade. The powerful upgrade was complete, an immediate, savage transformation. The scent of blood, a repulsive perfume, hung heavy in the air. The familiar scent of blood, but this time it was a terrifying, hidden torrent. Stepping out of the padded training room, he felt the strange new aversion to the morning light. Crimson calamity ignites, bathing him in raw, terrifying power. Single breath escapes as the monstrous form unleashes a devastating arc of crimson power. It's the scent of blood. A ferocious intent, like a current of murder, stirs the darkness within me. It's the scent of blood. Not just any blood, but one carrying a hidden, ferocious intent. The scent of blood washes over him, not mundane, but carrying a ferocious intent. The crimson calamity erupts, shattering the air with overwhelming force. The training room echoed with the straining might of his transformed body. The crimson energy surged, an overwhelming display of raw, terrifying power. A ghastly, ethereal hand emerges from the darkness. A chilling resonance follows. The shattering force erupts, the impact tearing the very fabric of the training space. The crimson power tested, the body pushed beyond all limits. The monstrous aura ignited, a violent, shimmering dark energy consuming him. The fragile membrane of reality shatters under the strain. No way. I have to keep going. 5.3 seconds. Pushing beyond the failing limit of the former self, the crimson energy exploded outward, shattering reality itself. The glare of morning sun hits differently now, a new sensitivity inherited. You didn't check the announcement? Why? The casual inquiry barely masked the intensity between them. The university shifts its paradigm. A new mentorship structure begins. They approached the grand entrance, stepping across the patterned stone. Even the university dormitories concealed dedicated training rooms for martial might. The vast hall was filling up with students, all eyes fixed on the stage. The next morning, the sunlight felt unusually harsh on the newly adapted vampire template. The scent of blood was unmistakable, but this was no ordinary trace. She looks like a child, but acts like a grumpy elder. Why is she calling me kid? The massive form behind him confirms the unbelievable truth. 90 years vanished in a breath, yet the memory of a disciple remained sharp. His sharp blue eyes held an unwavering intensity, the gravity of the situation settling in. That killing intent felt so real. I thought I would be instantly struck down. That killing intent was so intense. It actually felt like I was about to be beheaded. A deafening sound tears through the oppressive silence. The air thickened with terrifying intent, radiating from the silhouette. The sheer intensity of that power felt utterly unreal. Am I truly losing my mind? The raw fear of the killing intent suddenly clashes with a saccharine offering. I only get one chance to make this impression count. A blinding wink, a playful poke to the cheek, defying all expectations. A shocking impact as he is forced to his knees before the mysterious girl. This investment is a guaranteed victory. She recovered quickly, offering a sweet, albeit perhaps manipulative, treat. The presence of the 5 major deans truly surprised them. The other freshmen stared, utterly bewildered by the arrival of the legends. Unbeknownst to the fresh cohort, the entire trial was broadcast live to every faculty member. The monstrous dragon mask lay defeated, trophies dangling from his hand. The deans, poised for recruitment, now face an interruption. The impossible power of Fu Hongsheng, replicated by a supercomputer model, was vanquished. The assembled deans waited, the weight of their expectations heavy in the air. The authority figure relayed the grim update. The 5 deans recoiled in utter shock, utterly unprepared for this declaration. A powerful master caught, struggling against the desperate embrace. He makes his bold pitch, eyes glittering with intense ambition. The deal was struck, recruitment a success. Then, a sudden disruption shattered the moment. The very masters of the 5 great schools have descended, their presence demanding attention. The young talent offered a sincere bow, formalizing his desperate request. The Wadu Research Institute loomed, a fortress of sharp angles against the bright sky. Her crimson eyes flare in shock as she's suddenly restrained by an invisible force. They descended into the sterile belly of the Research Institute, the elevator display marking their slow path down. The claustrophobic passage stretched out, a sterile tunnel under a digital clock. The massive doors sealed them inside the dangerous confinement zone. A sudden, strained breath, eyes wide with raw, uncontrolled intensity. The countdown ends. The fatal window slams shut. The massive confinement doors shuddered, failing under the intense pressure. The air crackles as the containment field flares bright pink. The oppressive magnetic field immediately dampened his power, rendering his martial arts useless. The master sheds her bulky exterior, preparing for the first lesson. The structure was a lavish prison, a massive, multi-level house designed to contain lethal power. A sudden, heavy thud marks the teacher's sudden presence. Cell, that was anything but a gilded cage for the legendary Master Gongke. The imposing gates of the Wadu Research Institute loom large. A sudden, urgent report shattered the calm. He had crossed a line, bonding with Gongke. The predictive analysis scrolled, flashing grim probabilities for the encounter. A special class combatant. Gongke. Danger lurked beneath that playful gaze. Above the towering metropolis, the weight of expectation settled heavily. Decades have passed since this master last taught anyone in this sterile expanse. The playful warning was instantly obliterated by raw, terrifying speed. A terrifying gaze, eyes burning with intense power, closing in fast. The raw power erupts, a terrifying vortex of blue energy surrounding the terrifying transformation. A monstrous transformation, claws erupting as sheer power threatens to shatter his composure. A wild, ecstatic grin spread across the face, eyes wide with manic energy. This single awakening could grant impossible speed, defense, and offense simultaneously. The master mocks his student's slow pace, even when holding back. A primal scream tears through the silence of the confinement zone. A sickening grin stretches across his bloodied face, acknowledging the brutal end of the exchange. It's been a long time since I tasted blood. The colossal mecha beast form looms, crackling with insurmountable defensive power. A desperate measure, a template maxed out overnight. The teacher's eyes burned with a terrifying, crimson light. The teacher unleashes a devastating, crimson torrent of power. The crimson blast meets the surging blue power in a deafening collision. The teacher's terrifying spiritual power erupts in a blinding blue shockwave. The colossal mecha beast armor materialized, crackling with raw, terrifying power. The teacher's gaze hardened, her eye glowing with predatory intent. The mecha beast form descended, an overwhelming wall of armored power. Her eyes burned with terrible, crimson focus as she spun into the attack. The monstrous armor was ripped away. The defense shattered. Her detection skills are terrifying. They've completely shut down all life functions of my real body. And she still noticed. Hey. It's been a long time since I tasted blood. The teacher descended upon the armored shell, her bare feet poised for impact against the terrifying spikes. The teacher struck, tearing through the defense with terrifying speed. The crystallized armor flares with unbelievable, blinding power. His eyes burned with an unnatural, glowing intensity. The air crackles with crimson intent as the spiked chains descend. This place. I knew it. There's no escaping the guillotine. Crimson calamity. Time freeze. The world itself seems to halt at the teacher's command. The world fractured under the weight of killing intent. The mecha beast armor, boasting defenses multiplied dozens of times over, shattered into blazing fragments. The electric blue eyes lock onto the target, a terrifying focus behind the facade of combat. The crystalline prison shattered around him, revealing the victor standing over the broken remains. The teacher stood unscathed amidst the crystalline debris of his defense. Her theatrical tears spilled, a mask for the raw frustration of defeat. He laughed, trying to mask his true feelings, while she just sniffled pathetically. Her eyes rolled back, a strange, intense reaction as the training began. A tense stillness followed the display of surprising power. She stalked the fridge, oblivious to his return. The master's technique, a terrifying domain built on pure, bloody killing intent. A brilliant flash of white light erupts, marking the absolute essence of the technique. But master's slash is like a butcher with perfect precision. A slight pause, a fleeting moment of composure amidst the chaos. The mind breaks open, revealing an ethereal, glowing eye staring into the void. Inner vision granted. The true architecture of the self revealed. A smirk curls across his lips, his piercing blue eyes gleaming with confidence. Master Gongke evaluates his student's raw power, acknowledging her gifted nature. The killing intent domain manifested, a realm of wuluo, hell, silence, and no breath. Lower tier schools are stuck with the basics, but here, he bursts forth with raw power. The air crackled, alive with raw, chaotic power surging around him. She stared toward the otherworldly landscape, her eyes blazing with grim focus. A sudden, sharp realization struck him. The sacred, blood-stained tome of the killer's Bodhi Heart Sutra is revealed. A surge of crimson energy erupted, his eyes burning with an unnatural, focused light. Class dismissed. The lesson concluded amidst the colossal shadow of the celestial city. The air crackled as the master unveiled his presence, his form a chilling silhouette. A crimson domain erupts, saturated with the scent of blood. The killing intent domain materialized, crackling with raw, hungry power. The master's power manifested, towering over the abyss of summoned horrors. A terrifying wave of undead, eyes blazing red, surged forward in the illusion. The blade rises, catching the crimson hellscape as grasping hands claw from the abyss. The killing intent flared, manifesting in a blinding arc of pure force. The killing intent alone, contained within this fiery illusion, was almost too much to bear. The darkness recedes, revealing eyes burning with terrible blue light. It's been one day and I'm already dead tired. Yo, long time no see, Chujo. She lies comfortably, surrounded by plush toys. A quiet moment after the package transfer. Yinbai took her as a student, a sign of genuine potential. Uyongzi commanded the stage, unfurling the banner of his self-proclaimed Dragonblood Society. The Dragonblood Society clashed with local elites, and their momentum swiftly faded. Dragonblood's momentum faded as internal clashes fractured their influence. A heavy foot presses down, channeling raw power into the grueling session. The instructor stood over the exhausted disciple, her posture radiating smug control. Faster. Push it. Don't let up now. The brutal training session demanded absolute exertion. The brutal energy of the push-up tore through his failing physique. The relentless count reached 1,000, a punishing threshold met with explosive force. The monstrous shell shatters, revealing the man beneath, his breath catching with a strange, new sensation. You're terrible at video games. Try to get better before I return. The disciplined powerhouse turns away, his hard-won physique catching the light. Will you come back? A pleased expression. A spark of recognition ignites in his bright blue eyes. Emerging from months of hidden training, the city looms vast and indifferent. First stop, the Student Activity Center to grab a mission. Yo, long time no see, Chujo. The aftermath of a swift, devastating defeat. One man utterly broken against the tile, the other standing, still untested. Could ye possibly match this silent threat? Could ye truly match Shang Janhui now? That thought chills him to the core. The frantic rush of someone arriving late, breath catching in a sudden burst of energy. The casual intimacy sent a visible shockwave through her, leaving her utterly flustered. 3 months without seeing me, and you don't even say hi? The colossal display pulsed with urgent mission alerts, drawing their attention away from personal matters. Tier 2 assignments are rare for a first-year squad, but the stakes have clearly escalated. With this card, you can accept any campus mission tier. Just don't grab tier 4 or 5 at random. The tension hung heavy as they faced the stark reality of the upcoming mission choices. Goodness. The sheer weight of the situation settled upon him. I'm with Yi. The declaration solidifies the unlikely trio. The instructor beams, offering a final blessing for their perilous journey. Imperial U's campus was a monument to cold, imposing technology. He paused on the rooftop, surveying the vastness below. Yi, the moment of truth for your new weapon arrives. The weight is right. No float. Fits my hand. Each cut rides a wail of wind and a flash of light enough to chill the blood. A sudden, violent rush. The dean and his assistants are propelled forward. To keep the mission quiet, they posed as university students on an internship in Lingshui County. To keep the mission hidden, they operate under the guise of an internship. The intense blue of his gaze flared as he activated the powerful sensory technique. The roar of the engine echoed as they barreled down the highway, returning to their roots. The young man listened intently, perhaps recognizing a familiar name from his past. The locals' unrestrained laughter echoed as the city lights blurred past the windshield. The journey ends. They arrive at the desolate, familiar threshold. The locals' cheerful greeting was a sharp contrast to the silent, forgotten ruins. Over a decade of neglect has left this entryway forgotten. A powerful step descends from the bright sky. The psychic contamination demanded immediate purification with torrents of pure martial energy. The raw, purifying energy surged forth, a testament to brutal efficiency. The dilapidated entrance gates open, revealing the harsh, uncared-for interior. The old house was grim, the neglect evident in the peeling walls. A chilling realization washed over her as his eyes flared with an unnatural, searing purple light. The monstrous idol, veiled in crimson, sat in unsettling meditation. They found a shrine, shrouded in unnatural light and mystery. Someone else placed this strange shrine here. His pure energy flared, a dazzling blue contrast against the raw shock of his opponent. A wave of energy, sharp and pure, countered the lingering psychic taint. A shift in the air. His perception sharpened instantly. A raw surge of pure martial energy gathered, crackling around his focused hands. With a decisive shout, the pure energy collided with the dark idol. The air crackled with sudden shock as the group witnessed the unexpected display of power. The figure sits shrouded in an ominous, swirling darkness dotted with eerie, luminous orbs. The sheer force of the entity's energy erupted, ready to consume the world. The dark, psychic energy tainted her. Pure martial energy must be channeled now. The darkness shrieked, its many mouths snapping in futile agony. Pure martial energy surged, attempting to purge the taint from the afflicted soul. Her eyes flared with unnatural purple energy, screaming at the horrifying discovery. The world reeled as her eyes glowed purple, a desperate, raw power surging forward. The psychic taint must be purged with pure martial energy. The psychic entity writhed, trapped within the fracturing, icy prison. A predatory grin flashed across his face, eyes burning with malicious intent. The trap was set. The journey led them to the grand structures of Lingshui County. The dilapidated entrance to the old family home stands waiting. Beneath the fierce gaze of the guardians, a shimmering wall of golden plaques beckoned them forward. The monks stood vigil over the glowing, unnatural pit. The gilded guardians descend, their fearsome weapons raised before the shimmering barrier. The ominous presence flared, eyes burning a vivid, malevolent green. The beast erupted in monstrous form, pulsing with malevolent green energy. With a sharp impact, the metallic object slams down. A devastating downward strike connects, shattering the grotesque form. If this vile residue touched my clothes, it would never truly wash out. The struggle intensified, a brutal low sweep against the hardened legs. The ominous guardian stirs, grasping its ancient weapon tightly. The gleaming, monstrous constructs descended, their glowing eyes promising swift, brutal judgment. The Starfall Cleaver descends, an ancient weapon meeting some unknown mechanism. The hulking figure roared, bringing down a devastating, glowing attack. The titanic constructs descend, their golden limbs poised to strike. The Starfall Cleaver answered the summons, erupting with raw, crimson energy. The Starfall Cleaver is drawn, energy surging around the crystalline hilt. The Starfall Cleaver descends in a blinding flash of crimson energy. The colossal figures, revealed as mere constructs, lie shattered amidst the glowing debris. The stone guardians awaken, their demonic eyes blazing with raw, destructive power. A shocking impact. The attack tears through the environment with blinding red energy. The Starfall Cleaver is summoned, a dark, sweeping arc of terrifying power. The Starfall Cleaver meets the enemy's blast, splitting the searing energy in a furious clash. The donor's desperate plea was met with cold, crimson light. The towering door, etched with strange golden glyphs, seemed to absorb the very light in the cavern. The behemoth descended, a raw display of destructive power erupting against the protagonist. A blinding flash erupted, marking the violent impact against the crude earthen barrier. Blinding light erupted, tearing through the darkness with immense force. The stone fortress shatters, revealing an abyss of unnatural, pale blue light. The shattered remnants of massive constructs littered the cold, tiled floor. This golden giant, a silent, imposing presence, held a secret within its metallic frame. A colossal, golden figure looms above, its metallic hand raised in judgment or warning. Quanhuang Blade ART unleashed its fury, severing the shadows. The benefactor crouches low, ready to strike at the subterranean monsters. The temple's ceiling shatters, raining down destruction as he plummets into the abyss. A desperate impact shatters the stone beneath him. The cavern air hung thick, a mausoleum of looming, dark archways. More lizard things. A lot this time. The benefactor unleashes his attack, a furious descent aimed low. The Quanhuang Blade Art unleashed, a first form of raw, crimson power. The ultimate strike descends, a blade of blinding, crimson-tinged light. More lizard things. A whole horde this time. The sheer scale of the swarm, a grotesque mound of writhing, hungry beasts, held fast. The wretched thing screamed silently, black ichor weeping from its sightless eyes. The mockery ends as the benefactor surveys the damage. The golden giant unleashed a massive, blinding strike, energy arcing around its form. The behemoth retaliates, crushing the intruder beneath a shimmering, golden fist. The golden giant descends, radiating blinding power, preparing its colossal strike. The air crackles with raw, explosive power as the metallic fist descends. The benefactor's mechanical hand gathered a blinding, raw surge of energy. The ornate golden mask recoiled from the blinding, raw power unleashed before it. The golden automaton stares down the monstrous, transformed foe. A torrent of glacial blue energy erupts amidst jagged shadows. The benefactor unleashes a blast of incandescent power. A massive, crystalline claw slams down, radiating pure kinetic force. The iron-hard knee connected, a blinding impact against the golden armor. A wild, predatory grin splits the darkness, illuminated by eyes burning with cold, electric light. Amitabha. Taste MYJET black. Iron-hard knee. The massive construct glowed, its metallic face an ominous, inhuman mask. The behemoth stands firm while a barrage of glowing cannons illuminates the cavern. The sheer force of the impact burst outward in a blinding flash of crimson energy. The massive guardian, radiating golden energy, prepares its terrible barrage. The golden titan unleashes its final, desperate volley. The roar of the summoned beast shook the very foundations of the mountain. The golden giant erupts, summoning razor-sharp shards of pure energy. The monstrous mechanism unleashed its blinding, concentrated fury. The monstrous form unleashes its crystalline, blazing attack. The monstrous debris settled, revealing the terrifying structure beneath. The overwhelming force of his impact shatters the golden platform. The monstrous debris of battle settles as the victor approaches the revealed entrance. Half an hour earlier, the control room monitored the unfolding disaster. The initial assault was repelled, but the true threat remained unseen. The master of the assault stood victorious, silhouetted against the ruin. Desperation flares. They cling to one final, desperate measure. The surveillance screen flickered, revealing the shattered remains of a mechanical bodhisattva. The architect of this deception stood before the chaos, his calm demeanor chilling. The maniacal old scientist raged as his subordinate recoiled in sudden fear. He screams at the sheer audacity of his subordinate's misplaced confidence. Laser Bird sets its sights on the quiet county of Lingshui. The human sacrifices fuel Laser Bird's terrifying biotech. The unbreachable door shatters under a blinding, azure impact. The debris rained down as he descended, a phantom glowing with contained power. The armed agents surged forward, their expressions grim and determined. The air rips apart as he rushes forward. The oppressive energy slams down, a blinding arc of pure power. The mastermind stood face to face with the challenger, a confrontation hanging heavy in the air. One press on my watch and I can trigger the self-destruct. Sudden, crushing grip. The master's power overwhelming the scientist. A look of pure, desperate terror contorts his face as the abbot's grip tightens. The mighty master stands over the defeated, his presence suffocating the air. The mad scientist crouches low, his composure utterly shattered by the imposing figure before him. The defeated master's face contorted in a mixture of shock and sheer, impotent rage. He collapses in defeat, his final desperate act of self-destruction failing against the new power. A monstrous glare, amplified by the grotesque ocular implant, bursts forth in a moment of pure fury. The savage hunger continues, a sickening struggle against the forced assimilation. The tricycle grandpa gave me the crucial intel. The doctor, now mad doctor, sits amidst the crimson glow of the underground lab. The true horror, a demonic entity, loomed behind him. A brutal strike, crimson against the icy blue. He finally identified the agent, a demonic fetus, ripped from a ruin. The newly forged servant yields, recognizing the binding link. He gloats, boasting of his creations, immortal servants who fear no light. His eyes blaze with terrible clarity, piercing through the forced delusion. A primal scream rips through the silence as the self-destruct sequence is forced. Still raw meat for the menu, a chore even with these teeth. A weary figure kneels against the dying light, the truth of the divine descent nation crushing her spirit. A lone figure sits amidst the silent fallen, bathed in the ominous glow of a false sunset. What is this strange marking carved onto my very skin? The answer is a file code in internal company format. The digital screen displayed encrypted files, demanding a key to unlock the secrets. Trapped by glowing horrors, the truth of his altered existence slammed into him. The monstrous form of the entity pulsed with countless malevolent eyes. The raw truth dawns, dripping like liquid energy from his eyes. A surge of electric blue energy crackles around the hidden observer. Ling Shui's control deepens, the abnormality progressing through silent stages of corruption. A raw, pulsing energy radiates as the newly created being struggles against the encroaching darkness. The mindless masses, corrupted by the will, surge forward with nightmarish hunger. The monstrous, pulsing mass opens countless glowing eyes, watching the descent. The vile parasitic mass, pulsing with sinister energy, is finally revealed. A tense standoff in the cold, sterile laboratory. The truth about Laserbird's illegal experiments, even the secrets of the golden gene, are now his to command. Madness, truly madness. The sheer force of the impact rendered him speechless, a primal scream trapped in the blinding light. The possessed crowd closes in, their manic grins glowing with unnatural power. Even the rations taste of Ling Shui's dark influence now. The city's entire perception warped. An unseen entity was enslaving them all. The gravity of the situation hung heavy in the air. The transformation was complete. Rage fueled the burning, otherworldly light in his eyes. A firm hand of reassurance rests on each of his companions. The air crackles under crimson rings, as the silent subordinates await the master's verdict. The industrial site is bathed in the dying light of a harsh sunset. The Jinshin temple base, destroyed by a single, powerful warrior. Under the vast, unsettling moon, the boundary to Lingshui County is marked. The rendezvous point was a deserted platform under the cold, watchful eye of the moon. The captain reveals his true, mundane origins with a sneer. The luggage is ready. The mission is set. But the air hangs heavy with unspoken tension. Aries, a quiet moment amidst the chaos. The vulnerable held close. Gold Snake. Bluebird. The captain assigns the next move. A smirk plays beneath the lens, anticipating the chaos to come. Under the pale, indifferent moon, the derelict corners of Lingshui hid their secrets. The entire city's perception has been twisted, enslaved by some unseen horror. A chilling refusal hangs in the air of this squalid room, a stark contrast to the evidence of recent, grim sustenance. The demonic purple light flares in the eye, signaling raw, unleashed power. The night held an unnerving stillness, broken only by the sound of the afflicted moving. The vacant eyes of the crowd stared back, a chilling, silent tide outside the window. A sudden, sharp betrayal in the dark. Bluebird, trapped under her gaze. Realization dawning in the face of that chilling, violet light. That idol, radiating a sickening purple aura. The idol pulsed with a malevolent purple light, the darkness coalescing around it. That massive moon seemed to pull a pillar of light down to the city. That moon is massive. Under the cold, unnatural light, the townsfolk gathered, silent and stripped bare for the ritual. They're not just controlled. They are grinning beasts radiating dark power. A desperate shout rings out, but Bluebird remains unresponsive, trapped in a chilling trance. Bound and helpless, he faced the unnerving, grinning horde, his face contorted in a mask of pure terror and anguish. That massive moon hung above, casting an eerie, cold glow over the gathering below. The sleepwalkers gathered, their faces twisted in identical, sinister grins. They moved with the same ecstatic, vacant grin, their eyes burning with unholy violet light. The sleepwalkers surged forward, a ghastly, unified mass under the pale moonlight. A pillar of corrupted moonlight plunged from the colossal moon. The impact shuddered through the very earth, a violent, crushing finality. The massive, scarred moon looms above a grotesque, pulsing mound of bodies. Under the immense, eerie glow of the moon, the temple complex loomed silent. That massive moon hung, an ominous, scarred sentinel over the night. A sudden, protective grip. She pointed sharply into the strange, streaking light. That massive moon. Something unnatural is happening above the city. They race toward the city, desperate to find where the moonlight strikes. The night held a grim silence over the deserted streets. Below, the fight began, a flurry of desperate movements, a sudden realization, the cool glare of enhanced lens meeting an unexpected presence. Bluebird moved with deadly, controlled precision, A flash of lethal intent. A blinding strike impacted the defense, shaking the very fabric of the energy shield. A blinding, concentrated beam tears through the mundane ceiling. A brief, sharp adjustment. The eyes narrow behind the lens. A sudden, sharp snap as the ancient parasol opens against the dim light. Who dares interrupt this shadowed encounter? An audacious grin flashes as they accelerate, fully committed to the dangerous escape. Two masters, radiating lethal intent, closed the distance against their stunned foes. The monster loomed, its maw open in a terrifying grin of impending consumption. A desperate defense rises, the massive ice wall. The ice demon dragon erupts with blinding, fractured power. The ice wall shattered into pieces with terrifying ease. The coordinated strike team ascends into the darkened sky, ready to engage. The trap was sprung. Shocked eyes and gleaming blades meet the blinding speed of the phantom attack. Another one rushes forward, eyes wide with disbelief. He lunges forward, the sheer speed causing the air to fracture around him. The assassin closes in, eyes blazing with manic intent. Assassination art. 12 phantom bodies. The copies swarm in, a terrifying manifestation of skill. The air warps, reality fracturing under an impossible command. A terrifying glint in his electric blue eyes, stained with dark energy. The shadowy clones surge forward, lightning quick strikes aimed for the core. His eyes blaze with cold, unnatural light. The black lion's smile held a predatory glee, even as a crimson strike approached. A shocking, manic grin contorts his features as the fatal blow lands. The black lion's phantom body dissolves, revealing the shocking reality of the initial strike. A monstrous grip tightens, draining the very life force away. His chilling aura flares red against the dark stone. The monster reveals his true horror, summoning a puppet from the remains of the fallen. A chilling realization dawns as dark figures encroach upon the night sky. Emanating from the shadow, a monstrous form erupts, shrouded in hellish crimson energy. A desperate clutch as the infant slips away into the void. The raw, untamed power erupts in a blinding shockwave of dark energy. The monstrous form looms, its glowing eyes promising devastation. The panicked targets scramble across the ruined ground, the very air vibrating with unleashed power. The deadly assassins gather, their intent burning in their eyes. The command was clear. Unleash the ice demon dragon. The monstrous form surged forth, eyes glowing with sinister purple malice. A deafening clash of brute strength against crystalline ice erupts in blinding light. A blinding, white-hot arc of power descends with deadly intent. A blinding strike descends upon the monstrous maw. That wound. Is it cybernetic? A blinding speed. A shimmering figure closing the distance in an instant. The imposing figure is suddenly surrounded by shadowy soldiers, all bearing glowing crimson eyes. Caught in the surge of raw power, the skeletal warrior clings to his desperate lunge. A massive wing of electric purple energy unfurled, tearing the very air apart. The power surges, raw and volatile, as the charge finally completes. The surrounding space warped under a devastating purple aura. A massive, glowing energy erupted, shaking the very ground beneath it. The overwhelming purple energy pulsed, dwarfing the figure beneath it. The colossal sphere of purple energy pulsed, an absolute horror descending upon the structures below. Rats truly like to crawl into the hidden places, like these dark sewers. Emerging from the murky depths, his frantic energy barely contained. The blinding light surged forward, a devastating attack meeting raw, aqueous power. A terrifying aura burst forth, illuminating his desperate features. The impact arrived, a blinding, earth-shattering surge of blue energy. A sudden, chilling realization dawned amidst the desolate darkness. That celestial light, a masterpiece of God's descent to heaven. A chilling glare, a predatory silence demanded. A spectral tide of grasping figures surged around her. His imposing silhouette, armed with a blade glowing with ominous red light, descends upon her, clinging desperately to the behemoth. One small figure hurtles into the void. A desperate shriek rips through the air as she fights against the overwhelming, muscled form, a monstrous spire of bodies piercing the eternal void. aimed straight for the pale moon above. A monumental gate, forged from ice and intricate teal metal, looms against a bright, hazy sky. A blinding pillar of power descends, shaking the very air. Bathed in an unholy, radiant light, tears stream down a face locked in a desperate, manic grin. A cruel grin stretched across his face, illuminated by an eerie, glowing purple. Under the cold, indifferent gaze of the moon, a shadowy silhouette prepared for war. The raw power of the moon channeled down, a blinding beacon in the dark. Yi's gaze hardened, the weight of the impending conflict settling upon him. The impending arrival of the heavenly kingdom looms, and with Laserbird crippled, the external threats are momentarily contained. A chilling silence descends upon the rooftops under the cold moonlight. The androids, now animated by the chilling vampire virus, stir from their former stillness. The remaining three stared out into the ominous night sky. His gaze sharpens, calculating the value of this hidden ally. The shadow figures swarm, their crimson eyes blazing in the night. The warrior lunged, wreathed in shadow and scarlet fury. Qingju felt the weight of his trust, her resolve solidifying beneath those unsettling, brilliant eyes. Ye interrupts the tense moment, calling out to Qingju, a confident, almost menacing smile, underscored by those piercing blue eyes. That infectious smile confirmed her trust, a bright spark amidst the coming storm. The imposing palace looms under the night sky, a silent witness to their clandestine meeting. All the androids you killed before are piled up here. The massive shadow looms, crackling with raw, terrifying power. The blue, ethereal form exerts a crushing grip, revealing a pulsing, thorny heart beneath. The unleashed power of anthropomorphism roars into existence. The colossal, serpentine eyes snapped open, glowing with malevolent, otherworldly energy. The calculations are set. External threats are neutralized for now. The biomosquito, loaded with vampire blood, begins its silent, menacing flight. The biomosquitoes, laden with vampire blood, descend upon the silent city houses. The rebuilt mechanical monstrosity ascends through the dust and smoke. The heavenly kingdom's arrival is imminent as the convoy speeds toward destiny. The assembled figures, draped in hooded robes, await their leader's command within the transport. A masked figure emerges, radiating a strange, unsettling purple light. The colossal, crimson form pulsed, eyes glowing with an infernal light amidst writhing darkness. The acolytes stand cloaked, their faces grim beneath the hoods. The spectral essence, once pure white, now sickeningly blue. The cloaked figures surged forward, their faces hidden, chanting in fervent worship. The moon itself twisted into a terrifying, gaping smile above the city. Under the cold, cratered gaze of the moon, the shadowy spire of power ascended. That chilling, unnatural grin spoke volumes of pure, terrifying zealotry. The storm raged over the dark waters, immense power crackling in the heavens. A crimson wave of corrupted energy surged, flashing stark warnings across the vision. The pure, white spirit was stained, a sudden, agonizing blue. The ritual reached its horrifying apex. Now God, under the bleak, starlit sky, the servant stood before the massive, unyielding structure. The platinum coffin rose, a monument of intricate, glowing teal. A scream of pure horror erupts as the divine essence turns vile. The once pure spirit now writhes, corrupted by an unseen sound. The platinum god coffin, shrouded in pulsating, unnatural tendrils, ascended into the ominous light. The ecstatic pronouncements halt as an unseen force interferes. The sacred ritual is fractured by a terrifying, unknown sound. The pure white spirit, tainted blue by an unknown roar. The cult leader ascended the sacrificial mound, bearing the platinum coffin toward the looming, desolate moon. The ritual reached its dreadful zenith, as vital essence connected to the silver coffin. The vessel, once pure, now writhes in a terrifying shadow. Who dares defile this divine moment? The ritual calls upon the corrupted lunar entity. Moon Nightmare borrows. A sudden shock. The pure spirit was tainted blue. The pure white spirit recoiled, stained blue by an unseen trauma, a towering mass of sacrifice, humming with dark, electric energy. A primal sound rips through the night, shattering the celestial calm above. A deafening sound ripped through the ritual space. The purity shattered, transforming into an ominous, vibrant blue. The promised purity of the god fetus was shattered. An offering of fealty is made as the warrior bows low. The pure white spirit within the coffin warped, a sudden, violent shockwave staining its essence blue. The great moon recoils. The spirit, once pure white, now bleeds a terrible blue. I feel a cold and sticky spiritual well. Foreign, calling it the devil. A chilling spray of dark ichor marks the victor's decisive, brutal strike. The leader, Lin Chi, draped in crimson and mystery, confronts the youth. The leader, Lin Chi, steps forward, a chilling smirk playing on his lips. The cultists begin their desperate, final act. The desperate strike connects, a blinding flash against the crimson robes. The crushing power of telekinesis locked down the target. The chains writhed, a dark energy erupting around the struggling figure. The exertion was immense, every muscle straining under the unseen grip. The mighty figure of the demon looms, bathed in pulsing crimson energy. The eyes blaze with a furious, demonic red reflection. A blinding surge of raw, blue power erupts from his hands. The air crackles with raw, uncontrolled power, an ethereal beast beginning to coalesce. Lin Qi's intense gaze cuts through the surrounding chaos. The shocking force slammed him backward, trapped within blinding, ethereal energy. A blinding surge of power erupted outward, shattering the stillness of the confrontation. Chaos erupted in the shadowed cityscape as unseen forces collided. Battered and broken, the divine warrior coughs amidst the swirling chaos. A chilling, alien power manifested, a grasp of the unseen. The leader, Lin Chi, revealed himself, radiating dark, purple energy. The leader, Lin Chi, stands against the shadowy figures, their menacing presence palpable. "We are justice," they screamed, raising their ritual blades high. A circle of corrupted supplicants, their life force bleeding red onto the dark floor. The cultists writhed, their faces masks of silent, agonizing dread. The shadows writhe, a terrifying, clawed hand closing around a core of furious light. The terrifying figure, wreathed in dark energy, revealed itself, a true manifestation of the devil. That chilling, sticky spiritual well begins to manifest. The mask falls away, revealing an intensely focused, glowing eye. The surge of blinding blue energy erupted, a devastating counterattack against the demonic might. The terrifying, monstrous form unleashes a shattering roar. A deafening shriek echoes as the demonic strike lands amidst the chaos. The cultists burst into a rain of blood as the devastating force struck them down. A crimson figure watches, suspicion hardening his features. "Wait, where is that boy leading them?" The air crackled with overwhelming hostility, a chilling aura radiating from the being within the coffin. "Your opponent is us." The divine forces descend, ready to clash. A raw surge of power, a guttural cry erupting from within. A chilling surge of power erupts, enveloping the man in blue energy. The whispers fade. Only cold focus remains in those unsettling blue eyes. A surge of energy floods in, digitized divinity granted in a blocky vision of triumph. The air thrums with latent, chilling power emanating from the coffin's dark surface. The coffin shudders, energy swirling around the crimson interior. Even just approaching this sealed vessel sends a soul-chilling dread. His eyes, burning with brilliant blue energy, fixated on the threat. Silence descends, broken only by the chilling whisper of his presence. The chilling aura around the figure in the coffin intensified, a clear sign of hostility. The realization hit like a surge of cold power. The air crackled with an unnatural, icy intensity. A blinding light pierces the darkness as the winged figure unleashes a devastating strike against the monstrous maw. A purple shard pierces the flesh, a horrifying communion between captor and victim. The world had fallen silent around him, the cacophony of battle erased. The Xuanmu divine needle pierces the darkness, a desperate strike from the robed figure. The corrupted will unleashes a final, desperate assault. God art, the desperate command rings out amidst the encroaching darkness. Don't die, Chujo. A desperate plea cuts through the shattering ice. The ignition blood-forbidden art strikes with devastating force. The monstrous entity lunges, its multiple glowing eyes fixed on its prey. The forbidden art strikes, encasing the monstrous form in crystalline frost and draining the user's power. A silhouette of absolute shadow erupts, outlined by crackling, ethereal blue energy. The raw power of the force surges, manifesting as a terrifying, crystalline silhouette. The raw, fracturing power bursts forth, crystallizing the very air with blinding light. The monstrous visage roared its pain, shaking the very air. The air shatters as a blinding surge of icy, blue power erupts. A torrent of blue energy erupts, meeting the demon's searing flames head-on. That terrifying force, something is clearly wrong. The monstrous form recoils from the blinding impact, a primal scream echoing the pain. The demon's glare burned with an unnatural, predatory light. The precious QL sword shattered instantly, consumed by the demon's flames. A terrifying sound effect pierces the air as a sharpened projectile plunges downward. The beast recoils with a deafening, violent roar, a cataclysmic impact, shaking the very fabric of the dark abyss. The sheer force erupted, crackling with an overwhelming surge of energy. Thanks to the Lord's foresight, this specialized round came in handy. The sheer oppressive force radiated outward, a cosmic storm of shadows and violet light. A swarm of red drones descends from the dark, ready for deployment. The winged figure descends, emanating a strange, purple aura of power. The overwhelming force ripped the weapon apart. The earth shatters as the massive silver slabs violently impact the ground. The horror is palpable as she recognizes the figures emerging from their ominous pods. A monstrous grin splits the face, eyes wide with maniacal triumph. A spectral tracking system locked onto the figures appearing on the scarred earth. The spectral titans loom, their cold, massive forms dominating the battlefield. The giants are friendly troops. Are they trying to stop this? The urgency is palpable. They must reach Yi before it's too late. A desperate order pierces the air. The divine seed must not be claimed. The glowing-eyed fiends charge forward, meeting a blinding, focused burst of power. The air shattered as the massive entity clashed with the mysterious, winged phantom. The sheer power unleashed in this clash sends shockwaves through the battlefield. The QL sword shatters under the demon's hellish flames. The crushing power descends, leaving her face contorted in agony and disbelief. The empowered warrior surges upward, purple wings blazing with dark energy. Her eyes widened in absolute terror, reaching out as the void loomed. Crap. The QL sword was utterly destroyed by the demon's flames, swallowed by the demonic surge. He shielded her from the incoming, terrifying force. A violent surge of dark, feathery power enveloped them both, tearing through the void. The burning pain of the blood thorns demands immediate attention. The survivors stand amidst the ruined hands of the illusion, gazing upon the victor. Their unified assault began within the cavernous maw. Above the desolate, cratered expanse, a figure emerges, cloaked in shadow and dark wings. His defiance sparks a blinding wave of destructive purple energy. The purple flames manifested, a powerful, vibrant shield against the encroaching darkness. The very fabric of their illusion twisted and contorted violently. A blinding, searing pain erupts as the blood thorns strike. The world warps under the sheer force of the shout. His gaze, burning with an unnatural blue light, fixes on the darkness. A final, eerie smile breaks through the collapsing illusion. The critical moments demand speed. He must carry her to safety now. How could he escape the god's illusion? A desperate convergence of 7 martial artists against the impossible foe. The power surges, a glowing, violent purple energy manifesting between his hands. A face twisted in shock and desperate denial as the insurmountable power descends. A colossal impact tears through the space, a blinding burst of primal force. His eyes blaze with an eerie, brilliant blue, an awakening power that defies the dream. The illusion shattered, leaving only the raw agony of defeat. Even within this constructed reality, the tearing pain remains absolute. A surge of dark power erupted, crackling around the figure. The dream collapses, forcing him out of the illusionary realm. The divine coffin awaited, a crimson prison against the swirling void. The titanic silhouette roared, radiating an unholy, electric blue light, descending into the void, feet touched by an ethereal, glowing energy. A chilling luminescence flares in his eyes. The last opponent remains. The moon god descended, enveloped in blinding, ethereal light. The moon god's vessel glowed, an ethereal figure standing against the void. His eyes burned with an intense, unnatural blue, a terrifying, predatory grin splitting his face. An imposing, glowing staircase ascends toward the chilling expanse of the moon. The glowing, alien feet settled onto the desolate lunar surface. This can't be real moon. The god's arrogant promises dissolved into the face of pure defiance. Yee. Human, I admire you. Our compatibility should reach over 96%. The divine being purred. Standing upon the lunar dust, the earth blazed in the distance. The ethereal light yields to a grotesque, armored form rising from the chaos. Bathed in ethereal light against the void, the figure made a gesture of sublime, chilling power. That chilling, luminous eye opened, a divine gaze fixed on the defiant human. The god's luminous form radiated pure, terrifying power. With a lift of his hand, he tore open the colossal humanoid body. A cold, probing touch pierces the very essence of his being. A chilling, manic grin splits his face, eyes burning with unnatural blue power. The brilliant, glowing spirit asserted its dominance over the physical shell. The physical form lies exposed, half consumed by shadow and gore. The illusion shatters. This luminous form feels utterly real, yet lacking true celestial terror. The god's attack descends like a celestial blade against the starry void. The god's form, shimmering with potent, cold energy, ripped open reality itself. The battle lines are drawn, energy crackling around the challenger. The supreme dragon, Aslier, unleashed his immense power. The abomination's strange attachment to that youth was duly noted. The monstrous form radiated an otherworldly, chilling glow. The being of light reached out, its terrifying divine presence freezing the youth in midair. The fabricated moon shimmered, but he felt no true cold, no lack of air. The condescending god glowered, his eyes burning with an icy, brilliant blue light. He tore open the colossal body, revealing an incandescent, furious power. The Aslier dragon erupted, its spectral claws grasping at the luminous void. A sudden displacement. The air crackles with raw power under a silent, star-dusted sky. The moon demon's terrifying gaze haunted his dreams, a persistent, obsessive stalker. The moon demon's gaze, whether in dreams or under moonlight, one may catch sight of the moon and dream, demon's master. The power of the moon demon's stolen divinity. 5 points now ready to allocate. The Emperor General's template, already mutated, needs no disruptive upgrades, so evolve. Vampire. The template's surge demanded utter dedication. The recovered footage shows the chilling aftermath. Liu Qingju and Chu Zhou suspended in green light. He stood under the cold, brilliant gaze of the moon demon. The azure dragon arrives, barely standing, clearly wounded from the ordeal. The azure dragon arrives, his form crackling with desperate, raw power. The raw power of the clash was revealed. Azure Dragon versus the Moon Demon's essence. The Azure Dragon arrives, his condition clearly battered from the fight. The terrifying silhouette of the Moon Demon descends against a stark, moonlit backdrop. A city floats above the clouds, a colossal structure bathed in bright daylight. Here he comes. Azure Dragon. Your condition doesn't look too good. Here he comes. Azure Dragon. Your condition doesn't look too good. Here he comes. Azure Dragon. Your condition doesn't look too good. Principal Shai leaned in close, a reassuring, if unnerving, smile on his face. Here he comes. Azure Dragon. Your condition doesn't look too good. The life magnetic field couldn't pinpoint the location. Where has he transported me this time? A catastrophic, unexplained explosion has obliterated Linshui County, leaving behind only a massive, bottomless crater. His expression froze, utterly unsettled by the aftermath he was now viewing. Here he comes. Azure Dragon. Your condition doesn't look too good. The Azure Dragon arrives, battered and radiating cold, blue power. The imposing figure of Azure Dragon stood over the smaller man, their confrontation set against the cold, dark expanse. The Azure Dragon's eyes held a chilling intensity, clouds of cold energy escaping his lips. The Azure Dragon stands imposing, cloaked in frost and immense power. That aura. It felt similar to the Moon Demon's power. A terrifying surge of bloodlust erupted, overwhelming the campus air. That terrifying aura. It's similar to the Moon Demon's but not corrupted. A massive sea storm swept me onto an uncharted island where no human had ever set foot. The Azure Dragon leaned in, preparing the final imprint. That aura. It's similar to the Moon Demon's. The sheer force of the attack ripped through the air, a scream of agony escaping the victim. That brief glimpse felt like his very soul was being dragged into the void. That brief glimpse felt like his very soul was being dragged toward the void. Don't resist. I'm imprinting 2 runes into your mind. See. That overwhelming killing intent ripped across the campus. Slaughter intent, Moon of Carnage. The sheer killing intent erupted, shaking the very air. The Azure Dragon dons his heavy, fur-lined coat, preparing to impart his final secrets. Her casual demeanor dissolved into sharp surprise. The imposing Azure Dragon loomed, dwarfing the young man. The Azure Dragon's intense gaze promised a victory long secured against the Moon Demon. A blinding surge of power erupted between them, an almost palpable tension in the midnight air. The desolate, starlit rooftop arena awaited their inevitable clash. The Azure Dragon leans in, his massive hand reaching out, ready to act. The legendary Azure Dragon prepares for their contest, eyes burning with ethereal blue light. The Azure Dragon's challenge rings out beneath the colossal, luminous moon. Slaughter intent, Moon of Carnage. The battlefield erupted in a blinding crimson and purple surge. Such overwhelming killing intent. Impossible. A sudden, explosive impact. That surge of killing intent. He has unleashed something terrifying. Hu University, 4th Panoramic Arena. Hu University, a certain hotel. Sword Manor. A sudden, piercing intensity flares in those scarlet eyes.